like lemongrass and geraniol, and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. STEM, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Oh, God. He's back.
Who's back?
The clown.
The naked one?
Yes, Giggles. He just drove on the lot in a new Kia.
What, does he want to trade it in?
No, he wants to show it off.
God, isn't he showing off enough? Oh, here he comes.
See what Elk Grove Kia did for me? That's service. That's why they got my business, not you.
I think we've already seen too much of your business. Thank you.
Elk Grove Kia. Great service for everyone.
Elk Grove Kia has never made it easier for you to show it off. Like the hottest all-electric EV in the market, the luxurious EV6. Save big with lease specials of $10,000 below MSRP. Not just one or two, but every EV6 in stock. Don't worry about credit. No credit, bad credit, charge-offs, repos. Don't worry. Our team has over 100 years of experience. Others say no. Elk Grove Kia says yes. Get your EV6 today at Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or elkgrovekia.com and show it off today.
Elk Grove Kia.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlov with your Sactown Sports headlines. Over the weekend, it was announced that the Washington Wizards and Phoenix Suns agreed to a blockbuster trade, with the Wizards sending three-time All-Star Bradley Beal, along with Jordan Goodwin and Isaiah Todd, to the Suns for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, several second-round picks, and pick swaps. The deal has not been finalized, while the Wizards still look for another team to send Chris Paul to. MLB announced today that San Francisco Giants and St. Louis Cardinals will be playing at Rickwood Field, the oldest professional ballpark in the United States and former home of Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro Leagues, on June 20th next year. The game will be a tribute to the Negro Leagues and Hall of Famer and former San Francisco Giant Willie Mays. It is 10 o'clock. Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. Those are your headlines. Now let's get to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
Yeah, first things first, Chris Verlov back.
I'm so glad.
Welcome back, Chris. Where did you go? And if you didn't go anywhere, great. Please make something up that sounds awesome.
I went to San Francisco last week, where I lost my keys. And one of my very good friends drove from Sacramento to San Francisco to bring me my spare set of keys, so I was able to drive home.
That's a very excellent friend. Let's give it up for the friend, because
MVP of friends.
I don't know if I would be that kind.
I was wondering if you were the friend, but apparently not.
Very big ass.
Yeah.
I'd probably do it. I'd do it for Chris.
Okay,
Chris
but you didn't. You're not the guy.
No, Chris doesn't ask for a lot. So I'd, if he was desperate enough, I think so.
And then this morning, my car didn't start.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
did you call your friend when he was on his way? Say, hey, could you hurry up? I've been waiting here a long time. Could you please hurry up and bring my keys?
No, because my phone was dead.
Oh, jeez.
Huh.
All right,
Should he be running everything?
I don't
Is that
know.
the guy that
It was very shaky.
Wow.
Chris, that doesn't sound. That honestly doesn't sound like you at all. Like, I would definitely peg you as a guy to be like making sure you have all your like wallet, keys, phone check, always making sure you got gas.
On vacation, he's like,
that's true, huh?
I'm just gonna let it go a little bit.
Slipped.
That's what happens. Well, welcome home.
Yes.
To Sactown Sports.
Yeah, exactly.
How different, Chris Watkins, does the NBA look compared to when we last spoke on Friday?
It feels like it's a whole new world over
Doesn't
here. I
it?
mean, it's the draft hasn't even happened yet, and I mean all the noise that's happening, and then we actually got some real deal, real Beal deal. How about that done? So it's a completely whole new world, and we're still waiting on Chris Paul to actually have a location.
Yeah, it sounds to me like
times.
some Kings fans are still kind of gnashing their teeth about, wow, how come we couldn't find a way to get Bradley Beal? There was no way it was going to happen, as we said when we first found out it had been discussed. And I think it's a very good thing that Bradley Beal is elsewhere.
I agree. We we almost had to go out of our way to try and find what the positive was going to be for Sacramento besides the talent acquisition. Like, obviously Bradley Beal is a really talented guy and is a great player, but the contract just made it almost impossible to see why you would bring that over here to Sacramento. I mean, it would just hamstring you so much in terms of your future moves, and
just being out from under the contract for Washington is like a plus.
Yes, that's all they cared about.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're pretty much, I mean, once they ship off Chris Paul, they're essentially getting Landry Shamet and I think a second round pick, maybe a pick swap. I mean, they're really like you said, they're just kind of getting off of this deal just to be able to breathe a little bit. And, that should tell you all you need to know about trying to unload that contract as well, and why you really shouldn't have been throwing anything of real substance out there to acquire it.
So we'll see what happens with Chris Paul. Yeah. The Clippers are interested. There was a report the Warriors asked about him, but the Warrior media is not talking about that at all. So I don't think there's anything there. Yeah. But I think the NBA, and I've been an NBA fan for a long time, the NBA now does a great job of making their offseason relevant.
Yes.
It's almost not quite to the NFL's level, but they do a really good job, especially this period here with the draft and then free agency.
Yeah. I mean, this is once the NFL season is over, there's no talk like 2 weeks after the NFL week or the NFL season is over. We're not still talking NFL. We're moving on. And, there is a little bit of, there's only baseball really going on besides right now, but it's really pushing towards a 12-month sport. Like, I mean, we have the draft coming up this week, and then in 2 weeks we have Summer League kicking off both here in Sacramento and then in Vegas. And then after that, there is like a month off. But then come September, we're talking training camp. We're talking, how those new additions fit to the team. Then we get some preseason games. And then next thing we know, we're in mid-October and the season's a week away. It's truly, again, becoming a 12-month sport. And I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it because it's going to be a long summer without it.
Yeah. And make sure you're up to date on everything going on related to the draft. Check us out on SactownSports.com. Frankie's got some great previews.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think he's got two. I think he's trying to do 2 prospects a day. I could be wrong, but it's at least one player profile per day, and that's creeping up on us fast. And there's so much at 24.
You're getting ready because you're on a draft special this week.
Exactly. Yeah, on Thursday, me and J. Ross from 6 to 9 will be right here on Sactown Sports, live recapping the entire draft. And it's been a journey. It's been a lot different than what it's been in the past because obviously the Kings usually are in the top 10, and so. Usually in the top 10, okay, these guys will definitely be gone, and there's only like 3 or 4 guys that really fit. And so you're really just kind of focusing on 2 to 4 guys max. With the Kings, I mean, there's so many. I mean, at 24, anybody can realistically be there. And, there's a lot of different options for them to do. And so it's just a much longer list of people that you have to kind of keep your eye on. And, a lot of them have a lot of questions, hence why they're at 24. So it's been a different, interesting process.
Okay, don't crush my hopes yet. I'll tell you who I hope the Kings get. We can talk about it later.
Interesting.
And I know that you are already in the thick of a ton of research, so you might know already. You might be able to say that's not going to happen. But I'll just tell you, please don't rain on my parade yet. Tariq Whitehead falling to the Kings to me is like, I get goosebumps.
I think Dariq Whitehead is a great shooter. I think the especially at 24, like that's a good risk to take.
If he wasn't hurt, I don't think they have a shot at him at 24.
Exactly. But the thing is, they even say that with his foot surgery that he went through, he should be back by training camp. So there's definitely questions there for sure. I mean, he didn't have a spectacular season at Duke after being the number 2 prospect.
Because he played on crutches.
Exactly.
You know how hard that is?
It's very hard. It's very, very hard.
In the ACC.
Yeah. But he's a great shooter, and he's definitely got potential to be somebody who's picked late and definitely outworks their draft pick.
Yeah. Right now, though, that would be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Thanks for being with us on the YouTube. You, of course, can also text us. Give us a call, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Free agency, as Brian points out on the YouTube chat, almost with us. Chris, how would you answer this question? Who is more likely to leave their current team, Draymond Green or Harrison Barnes?
Oh, wow.
And I know Draymond is opting out. Harrison Barnes hasn't technically opted out yet. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But considering like the Warriors
That's
or Draymond's team, and he's a free agent now, he can do what he wants.
Yeah.
Which of those two guys is more likely to leave the team that he played for last year?
I think Harrison Barnes. I think Harrison Barnes, because the Kings are going to be actively looking for an upgrade at that position, whether it be OG Anunoby, whether it be Kyle Kuzma, whether it even, I don't think it's going to be Jeremy Grant at this point. It seems like he's going to return to Portland. It seems like Harrison Barnes, unless the Kings just can't find anyone else or, their options go elsewhere, I don't think Harrison Barnes is going to come back at this point. We've seen interest in Indiana and in Dallas.
It seems like there are other teams that are more interested in him than the Kings are right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though he's probably more valuable to the Kings than he is to any other team.
Yeah, and I think Draymond just kind of has that. Draymond, it makes sense for him to return. I don't think Golden State can massively improve at that position
without him. With LeBron, and they had matching bucket hats.
That was a weird. I mean, yeah, I think people are reading a bit too much into that specifically, but there's nothing there. Like, their friendship is very real, and I do think if he's going to go anywhere, the Lakers are probably his number one choice. But I just think at the end of the day, I could see them running it back for one more year.
Clutch Sports.
There is the Clutch Sports again. It's a very, very real thing. And if for Warrior fans who want to keep Draymond there, I would be concerned about that relationship for sure. I feel like this Warrior thing is trending towards one more year of trying to make it work, and then with Kerr's contract, with Thompson's contract, with Draymond's contract at that point expiring, I could see them then deciding to kind of blow it up.
With Harrison Barnes, it's kind of odd because teams see him as a 3-and-D guy.
Yeah.
And the Kings need 3-and-D guys, but they don't seem like they necessarily feel they need him anymore.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that. The thing about Draymond, in my opinion, is, right now he's free and he can look at it. It's just probably an ego boost for him to look around and go, who else wants me? He's probably going to go back.
That's
but he's a free agent.
Right.
Oh, I did all the dirty work for them. Let's see who else wants me. And then to be courted by other teams probably makes him feel great. But in the end, he's probably going to go back and play with Steph because he knows Steph's is good for him, probably better for him even than he is for Steph.
Yeah. And I think part of that too is going to be gauging value, like money, monetarily, how much people value him as well, because he's got a $27 million player option that he's got to look at. And I mean, if people aren't saying we'll give you that 3-year 20 per contract, I think he's going to really look at this and be like, there's no way I'm making anywhere near $27 million ever again. And again, I just could see him looking at the scene, looking at the landscape, and just, viewing it as truly a one more year last dance for the Warriors team.
So you think, and if so, I agree with you, Dre stays, but HB is on the move.
I think so. That seems to be where we're trending.
Even though you want Draymond Green here.
Maybe.
Well,
maybe.
There's still
maybe.
maybe.
I don't know. I can't tell you that.
Did the Kings play the Beal deal right? We're coming right back with that. It's Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Carmichael Dave here. Spring here. Long, cold, rainy winter behind us. And I know you're counting the days until summer, but don't wait until it's hot to make sure your air conditioning is working efficiently and safely. Get ahead of the problem with a $49 AC tune-up from my friends at American Energy Heat and Air. Nothing worse than having your AC go out when it's hot outside. Get a tune-up today to make sure you and your family are comfortable and cool in your home for the hot summer months that are right around the corner. Give them a call at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Or schedule your appointment online like I did last year around this time at AmericanEnergyAir.com. Don't wait till that AC goes out. Call my friends today, 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Chris Watkins, Whitey Gleason here. Chris and Company. Chris Verlaud is back. Chris Verlaud, Chris Watkins, either of you make it to the movies at all during the long weekend?
I didn't. I assume Verlaud did.
Not this weekend, but I did last week.
Yeah,
Chris,
what'd you see?
Yeah, I was like, what's next on the movie
Spider-Man.
watch?
Okay.
Oh, I hear great things.
Into the Spider-Verse?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember. I also saw Fast 10 at some point.
Of course.
Okay.
That's the first viewing, or I imagine multiple?
Only the first viewing.
No way.
Yeah.
What took so long?
Stuff happened. Life happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
So nobody saw The Flash? Or neither of you saw The Flash? Okay.
No. I know you got that prediction of The Flash completely bombing. You said everyone's going to see it and everyone's going to hate it.
I think it's going to it'll do great box office, but I think it'll do very poorly critically.
What makes you say that?
Because I was watching it and I
it'll be good
realized I don't know that I can make sense of this. And I was reading some reviews that suggest that some of it's a little convoluted, and the whole thing looks like it's Spider-Man into the multiverse. And they just tried it with Flash.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The reason I mentioned movies is because one of the original summer blockbusters opened 48 years ago today. Maybe the original summer blockbuster. You could.
I do know what this is.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Jaws? Yeah, Jaws. 48 years ago today, so 1975.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
at the time was terrifying. Now you watch that shark's fake. Boo.
I do love isn't the I think Jaws is the movie where they only show the shark once in the entire movie, don't they? Like the actual shark itself.
At the end, you see when it comes into the boat, you see a lot. Spoiler alert!
Right. Yes, sorry.
You see the fin a couple times.
Yeah.
Oh, and the kid.
Because that's meant to be the growing suspense of how big. Oh my god! It's in the water.
That's
but
a
I don't
trick
know.
from the old horror movies of in the 50s where you'd see a claw or something, and at the end you see
this big.
And then sometimes that's it. Boo.
Yeah.
Well, apparently the story is that they planned on having the shark in it a lot more, but it kept breaking and they couldn't get a hold of it.
So it's an animatronic, right?
Yeah.
It's a massive.
Shark,
it was probably back when they did practical effects, and so it's just a real.
Right,
somebody actually had to build a working massive shark that.
Not like the sharks in Sharknado.
No, nothing like the sharks in Sharknado. Terrible. It's just a horrible. Have you actually watched Sharknado?
I have not.
It's terrible. I've watched about an hour of it. It's as bad as what you would.
I think I watched the first 3.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? No, I'm actually getting Sharknado confused with the Meg. And I've heard the Meg is actually good. That's why
I
watched
love
it.
the Meg.
Yeah.
Really?
Big Meg fan.
Yeah.
Rainn Wilson,
Meg 2 is coming out too.
Yeah, he is in that.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's the shark expert, isn't he, or something?
Or the rich guy.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I've seen glimpses of it, sometimes it's on TNT or whatever. I'll watch 5 minutes.
That's exactly what happened.
Read the book, and the book's okay. So anyway,
You watch you read a lot of the books where the movie comes out.
I do.
Because you were asking us about Bullet Train the other day.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The Bullet Train book is really weird.
The movie's really weird too.
Yeah.
It's good. It's different. It's very much like a comic, but in a movie. If they were to make a comic into a movie.
How weird was this whole thing of the Kings supposedly were in on Bradley Beal, or at least they discussed the trade? I know we talked about that last week when the news broke, and I was just flabbergasted that the Kings were in on the whole thing. Do you think they played it right based on David Aldridge, who reports that the Kings would not part with Keegan Murray?
I like to hear that. I definitely like to hear that, especially when you see what the end result was in terms of the return for Bradley Beal. Giving up Keegan Murray just would have been way too much. There's no way that value-wise makes sense. I mean, you're not going to get rid of a guy who's on a rookie deal and just shot 40% for 3 for a guy who is making the money Bradley Beal is. So I'm glad that Monty McNair, I guess, did his job, essentially did his due diligence of picking up the phone and asking, hey, what does a Beal look like from our end? But I'm also glad to hear that Monty McNair understood that we're not just going to make a deal to make a deal. It has to make a lot of sense for us too.
See, that's what I don't understand about the whole thing. Monty McNair, what I think I know of him, suggests that he believes in building kind of gradually, methodically, with great thought, and going after Bradley Beal to me is counter to that. But the other thing is, it didn't really matter, whether they had offered Keegan or not. I'm with you. That would have been a really bad mistake. It didn't matter because as Bradley Beal could take, he said, no, I don't want to go there.
Right.
He didn't care who was offering more for him, other than maybe he didn't want to go somewhere if the team he was joining had given up everything to get him.
Right.
But otherwise, he didn't care who had the best deal.
And that's what it sounded like. It sounded like it ended up being like there was better offers out there. I think I heard Miami offered Kyle Lowry and Duncan Robinson in some picks. And it wasn't really about that. It wasn't about who had the best offer. At the end of the day, it was, okay, Brad, here are the teams that have offered us anything. Which of those will you even go to? And I guess Bradley Beal said at some point it just became, I'm going to Phoenix. And so whatever Phoenix is offering, you're taking it because that's where I want to go. And, I guess Kevin Durant did a lot of recruiting to Bradley Beal in the past couple days, which swayed him away from Miami, I guess. I'm glad the Kings. At the end of the day, I'm just glad the Kings aren't the ones that have to hold that contract for the next 4 years.
I know.
That's how I feel. And Bradley Beal, perfectly fine player. Nothing wrong with Bradley Beal. He's going to go on to Phoenix. He's going to be good. I don't know if he's going to be a star. I don't know if he'll be an all-star, but he'll be a productive piece on that team. It's just not worth the $20 million for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, he's fine, but he is not a superstar.
No,
and that's what he's getting paid as.
He's not. It's fun from a fan standpoint. I mean, I'm glad we have something to talk about and look forward to. I want to see him play.
Yeah.
But if I were a Suns fan, I'd feel like, oh no, there's no way this is going to work.
Yeah.
Those three guys, they don't play as much as they used to. Mm-hmm. Devin Booker's not old, but Durant's breaking down a little bit, Beal breaking down, and just the massive commitment financially to those three going forward.
Right.
How do you put a team around them?
That's the thing. It's again,
why would you do that?
It's not like when those three play, those three specifically will be great. Like they're going to be really fun to watch. But the problem is if they miss any games, if one misses a ton of games, if two miss a ton of games, if all three are out, the guys that are going to be around them are all going to be minimum guys.
Here's the conundrum on that, Chris. You have these three guys, haven't played together before. They're great players. They can figure it out. But in order for you to be at your best in the postseason, you have to play a lot.
Yeah.
Right? You just have to be acclimated and learn each other, what we're going to do in this situation. If they do that during the regular season, they'll all be broken down by the time the playoffs come.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, which one do we do? Do we load manage and then get in the playoffs when we're not playing our best basketball and we're hoping it comes together?
Right.
Or do we play everybody and then see them breaking down in the postseason?
Sounds like the same problem they just ran into this offseason or this postseason where they
had the Clippers can tell you all about it.
That. Yeah. I mean, it's just not going to work out. Like if those guys have to play games, like you're saying, they have to play together in those games, and they've got to figure it out quickly because, frankly, I mean, 2 years from now, I don't know what Phoenix is going to look like with that Beal contract. Still, at that point, there'll be 2 more years still left on it. Kevin Durant will be 37 and probably even more. I assume even more broken down than now. And then who knows what Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, who we haven't even talked about. Like, I don't know what they're going to do with that piece. It's just a mess right now. Aaron points out in the comments, so this could be big for Phoenix's free agents.
Yes.
Phoenix is a hot spot for retirees.
That's a great point.
It's a very, very hot
chat of the day nominee right
Definitely,
there.
Yeah. So look out for Carmelo Anthony. Who else has retired recently? Maybe
Marcus Aldridge.
Marcus Aldridge, sure, yeah, why not? Maybe Jason Kidd. It's a shame that they let go of Monty Williams. We know that he played at one point. Maybe Monty Williams would have been a nice player coach option.
Now, did you see that he apparently didn't want to coach Jay Crowder? So Jay Crowder tweeted something or posted something and then deleted it. So it's like,
no, I did not.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
That thing unraveled there. They need some sort of
that
rebuild.
Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I understand the temptation if you're Matt Ishbia. It's like, well, I've got the money.
Yeah.
I know how to do this. Yeah. Watch this. And it's just not going to work.
I mean, no, it's not. Especially with the new CBA. It feels like the Suns looked at the new CBA, read it through, was like, there's a lot of interesting information in this, and then threw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
They just don't care about aprons. They don't care about taxes. They don't care about any of luxury tax, nothing. They don't care.
I guess you could say, and maybe Matt Ishbia did, and Isaiah Thomas supposedly.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Maybe they said, you know what? We could just trade Bradley Beal if it doesn't work. But he still has no trade. And look how that just worked out for Washington.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what they're planning to do, that's they're planning to fail at that point, because you're not going to be able to move. This is it. Like, this is what your team is going to be until that Bradley Beal contract is done.
You're going to tell me that with this team currently constituted, and who knows how they're going to fill in, and they got to figure out what to do with Ayton, you're going to beat the Denver Nuggets?
No, that's my thing.
That's
too.
funny.
How does this make them any closer to beating Denver? The problem wasn't that they couldn't score with Denver. It was they didn't have depth.
Yeah.
They didn't have wing depth. They didn't have any guards when Chris Paul went out.
Yeah.
They just they weren't deep enough. And what did they do but get more and more top heavy? And now, I mean, they still don't have an answer for Jokic. They don't have any wing depth at all. I don't understand how they're going to build out this team to be anything that can survive.
I guess they're going to trade Ayton and hope they get pieces that way.
Good
Ayton's
luck.
pretty good, by the way.
He is. He's pretty good. I just don't know what he's going to get in return when he himself is also on a rookie scale max contract. Like, who are you going to get for him? I don't know. How, a lot of teams that feel like they're a max contract DeAndre Ayton away from real success. Like, I think it's going to be not as tough as moving Beal, but I think it's going to be tough to find a suitor for Ayton too.
I think this is good news for the Kings. They didn't get Beal.
Too.
I think that's good news too. But seeing what Phoenix is doing, whoa, look at that.
Yeah.
I think we're okay.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine in the long. It's going to be, if you play them in the playoffs, it's going to be tough. Absolutely. But I'm not afraid of what Phoenix is going to do in the regular season. And then, if they find injury.
And speaking of Chris Paul, he says, blame it on Isaiah Thomas. Next on Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
Get all the latest 49ers news heading into the 2023 season on Sactown Sports.
I think Brock was smart, and we kind of facilitated that he met with a bunch of different surgeons. The hope is he's ready for the regular season. We'll take it as it comes, as we're doing. He's working incredibly hard, and the early returns are really good.
Sactown Sports, Sacramento's official home for 49ers football.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Valley Strong Credit Union.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We're off to a cool start as we kick off your Tuesday. You may want to layer for the next couple of hours, but into the afternoon, bright sunshine ahead, less wind and highs in the upper 70s to low 80s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, capital, and everything in between. Learn about all the benefits of being a business banking member at valleystrong.com.
Thunder, feel the thunder. It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
It's Thunder Valley's $20,000 20th anniversary cash giveaway. 5 winners on Friday and Saturday nights in June. One very lucky guest wins $20,000 guaranteed. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Greetings from M&S Auto on El Camino, just off the Cap City Freeway. And a big thanks to our repeat customers for letting us be your favorite car dealer. Repeat customers make us proud. M&S customers know that they're going to find the car, 4x4, or SUV they want. They'll get treated like family and save thousands. Whether you're a repeat customer or a first-time buyer, welcome. M&S Auto, the intelligent car buying experience. MSAutogroup.com.
Hey, Scott, you look great.
Yeah, I'm feeling good and have a new job.
No, there's something different about the way you look.
To be honest, a few months ago, I had an amazing robotic hair transplant procedure at XL Medicine. It's called the artist procedure.
No way. Your hair looks completely natural, and you don't even have a scar. How did they do that?
Dude, the artist system is amazing. I have this fantastic hairline, and I'm happy with my results. XL Medicine could probably help you too, buddy.
Using the artist procedure, Dr. Singh and Dr. Graywall can target and harvest healthy hair follicles with micron-level accuracy from the back of your head and transplant them where you need it. The procedure is painless, and you'll be back doing your regular activities in a couple of days. Ask Dr. Singh and Dr. Graywall at XL Medicine about the artist procedure. Call today, 916-932-4470. That's 932-4470 for a complimentary in-person or Zoom consultation. Or on the web at xlmedicine.com. That's EXCEL medicine.com. See what the artist procedure can do for you.
These are actors and not real patients.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Rolado with your Sactown Sports headlines. Over the weekend, it was announced that the Washington Wizards and Phoenix Suns agreed to a blockbuster trade, with the Wizards sending three-time All-Star Bradley Beal along with Jordan Goodwin and Isaiah Todd for the Suns' Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, several second-round picks, and pick swaps. The deal has not been finalized while the Wizards look for another team to send Chris Paul to. MLB announced today that the San Francisco Giants and St. Louis Cardinals will be playing at Rickwood Field, the oldest professional ballpark in the United States and former home of the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro Leagues. On June 20th next year, the game will be a tribute to the Negro Leagues and Hall of Famer and former San Francisco Giant, Willie Mays. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
Thanks for being with us here on the YouTube chat from Dwayne Baker. We appreciate, you pass along rumors and things as we get ready for the draft. Dwayne Baker says, rumor out there. I haven't heard this rumor, but Dwayne Baker has. Rumor out there, Mitchell Holmes first-round pick and first-round pick swap for Andrew Wiggins. Have you heard anything about that, Chris Watkins?
I have not. No, I haven't heard any. I haven't even heard Andrew Wiggins' name thrown out in any trades. From what I understand, Warriors seem pretty happy with Wiggins from everything I hear. I think
first-round pick swap. The Warriors have the better pick. Right, they have 19 and the Kings have 24. Hadn't heard anything about that, Dwayne.
No. Maybe they see something at 24.
Yeah, he also says, sounds too good to be true. I'd agree with that. We have this on the text line. And by the way, put your name on it.
Put your name on it.
For the 916. This is true. This just in, the Suns have asked permission to talk to Quincy Doobie. That I know for a fact is true. So I'm kidding. We're kidding. We're having fun.
I for a second was like, I had to think about it. I was like,
I'm sorry.
No, I was just
kidding around. I saw the look on your
Doobie,
face.
I was trying to think like player, and then I was like, is he coaching somewhere?
Sorry,
man, that is a throwback and a half. Quincy Doobie might have been the worst of all. I know Thomas Robinson got traded at the deadline. I know Papianis was unplayable, but Quincy Doobie was.
Quincy could shoot it.
He could shoot.
Yeah, he'd let it fly.
He would.
He got 70 in the China Basketball Association.
Did he really? I think he dropped 50 in like a preseason game.
Not surprised
in
at
Sacramento.
all.
Just
I don't
never
that,
during the regular season. But yeah, Quincy Doobie is an all-time bad Kings player. All time. Like when I think of like bad Kings teams, especially
fair.
Just the teams, like Quincy Doobie is the first, like, oh yeah, those were the Quincy Doobie days. Like,
to me,
that's got the gold jersey and everything.
You may be right. To me, it's not fair because he was drafted late. To me, the bad ones are the guys that you draft earlier and they're no good.
Right.
That to me is like, that was rough.
The Thomas Robinsons, the Ben McLemores, the Nick Stauskas.
Yeah.
Those guys.
There you go.
Maybe Marvin Bagley if you want to throw that guy in there.
Goodness. Again, not their fault. They didn't draft themselves. But
no, they did not. Yeah.
Oof.
That is so true, actually, is that I do. I mean, I guess it's a fan thing to do, but people really do take it very personally on the players. It's like, why do you suck? And it's like, it's not my fault. I am who I am. You guys are the idiots who thought that I was more than that.
Especially if a guy makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because it's a natural thing to assume that you're stealing our money. You must not care. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
Whatever the sport is, just because a guy gets a lot of money or a woman gets a lot of money doesn't mean that they're going to dominate. No. They want to. But, what's wrong? All that money they're paying you? What? He's a bad person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
exactly. That's what you leave.
It's so weird. Yeah. It's just like exactly. It's like he must not be working hard enough because he sucks. And it's like, I don't know. Sometimes you just max out,
it's
like
really hard.
It's really hard, especially when you're talking about like a 0.1 percentile of getting better. Like, I don't know. It's tough. Like it's really tough to be a professional athlete. And like the margins are so small that it's kind of crazy.
If I made that type of money, I'd make my free throws.
That is the biggest one. That is a great one. Cause that's the biggest one. It's always like, you're a professional.
It's free. It's a free throw.
As everyone's just, if they were to shoot 10 free throws, they'd pray they could make 5. And everyone's like, oh, man, this guy's 7 out of 10. Come on. Why you do this for a living?
It really cracks me up in baseball sometimes. A guy makes a lot of money and he's striking out a lot. Oh, come on. I mean, you've seen what they're trying to hit?
You're lucky if you I don't even think I could hit a baseball if I just stuck. I don't think I could bunt. Like if you were to throw a 90 mile, not even like 90, just 90. Give me 90.
What if we gave you like a canoe paddle or something and you could just hold it there?
I would like to say yes, but honestly, I have too much. Like, I remember the first time I saw like a 75 mile an hour fastball or like a 70 mile an hour fastball that like a kid in high school threw. I was like, how am I supposed to hit that? Like, how am I even supposed? Like, hard. By the time your mind even thinks like, okay, time to swing, it's already hit the back plate, and that was like 70. Like, there's no way I could hit anything, even touch anything near high 80s, mid 90s, 100. Are you kidding?
I literally did that one time. I was batting against this guy named John Bonet in Vallejo, and he was drafted by the Indians. He was their first round pick, and he hadn't. This might have been right before the draft, or he hadn't gone yet. But I'm facing him, this lefty. He ended up pitching in the majors. He got hurt. He didn't last very long. The first pitch he threw me, I swing, and one of the coaches goes, "You gotta swing before the ball gets there." It was like the guy caught it and I swung.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's like
it's impossible.
I've never seen anything like that.
No, you're like, wait, did he throw the pitch? Because I didn't even see it coming in. Yeah. You literally have to like start your swing motion, or at least like the thought process of swinging like before the ball even releases from the hand. I will never never understand how to hit a baseball.
Yeah. So as far as Quincy Doobie goes, didn't work out for Quince, but what was he picked? He was 20-something, wasn't he?
Yeah, I would like to say he was in like the 2007 draft, like immediately after the Kings were bad. I want to say he was like their first pick in like the post draft. He was the 19th pick in the 2006 draft. So literally the year the drought started.
Did he go to Rutgers?
He did go to Rutgers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He went to Rutgers, and he was supposed to be
didn't work out.
Big time scorer. Ended up playing 136 games for the Kings, never started a game, 4 points per game, shot 30% from three, 38 from the field.
Okay.
Not much of anything.
Didn't work out.
But
he went on to become a superstar in China.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. That's truly a Kings legacy.
Speaking of, okay, so we got these guys and we expect so much from them. Do you buy when a guy like Chris Paul says, I'm flying somewhere, I'm on the plane, that's how I find out I got traded? And he's like, in this business, you never know. And it sounds like he really felt like, wow, they did me wrong.
I think that that's a true story.
Yeah, you have sympathy for a guy like that?
Absolutely. I mean, like, and I heard Chris Paul also, it's so fun. I don't know why people just let Chris Paul know he's being traded. I heard a story, I think he was on Paul George's podcast, who everybody seems to be going on these days, where he talks about getting traded to Oklahoma City. And a similar situation happened with him in OKC, where he gets traded there, and then everyone just assumes like, oh, Chris Paul's not going to play in OKC. He's going to move on to a different team. And he didn't get called from the OKC front office until he reached out to Sam Presti like 2 days later and said, hey, can I get someone's number? Because I know what the plans are, but for now I'm on the team. So I would like to operate as if I'm on the team. So everybody, please just inform Chris Paul when he's been traded. That's all he asks.
It's tough. He said, it's part of the business. And what you realize is that no one owes you anything. But when it comes through and my son texts me, I realize that, Matt and Isaiah, I guess, just wanted to go in a different direction.
Oh, boy.
Isaiah Thomas fingerprints are on this
trade.
This man
in charge.
Again, colossal rookie owner mistake, right?
Yeah.
NBA legend. I love Isaiah Thomas.
And with Chris Paul's kid, we're hoping it wasn't another kid making fun of Chris Paul's kid.
That's
and
literally
then he told
what
his dad.
I thought.
Don't tell your sister, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks.
God, Chris Paul's kids are just like the bearing of bad news for him. That's like the true barometer of Chris Paul. Like Chris Paul's social media is his children.
That's probably the one that's Chris the fourth or whatever, right? Who's in the commercial with the dunk?
Yeah, CP4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. He's I mean, I
feel like I know the kid.
The Isaiah Thomas thing is strange. Yeah, he was like one of the original press conference kids also, where Chris Paul would bring him on, and I was like, that kid looks just like Chris Paul, literally. The Isaiah Thomas thing is so weird. I don't understand why on earth anyone, after looking at what Isaiah Thomas did to the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
I do not understand.
To the Continental Basketball Association. Yes. It doesn't exist anymore. He ran that.
Never even heard of
his resume. All right, Isaiah, I know you're a great player. Let's see.
Oh, 2 championships.
Everything you've done since then has been ruined.
Been terrible. Just absolutely terrible.
Sure. Yeah, let's hire you.
And if I'm not mistaken, Isaiah Thomas was guilty of doing this exact same crime routinely in New York, where he would just pay people or he would not care about contracts And he would just be like, I acquired the talent. That's all that really matters. Like, I think he even had a quote of saying the great thing or the underrated thing about big contracts, like no one wants these massive contracts, but nobody thinks about the fact that one day those contracts will be expiring. And that's like his philosophy, is that these contracts might be big now, but at some point they end and then you get that money. And that's just not how it works, because sometimes you acquire a Bradley Beal deal and then you can't do anything else and your team is set and you have 5 people on your team.
I would guess that an owner, is basically a fan also, and they have all this money. So then there are people that surround them, people that, the little fanboy inside the owner says, wow, Isaiah Thomas.
Right.
And then Isaiah Thomas realizes this guy's a lot of money. He's like, hey, let me tell you what's going on. And all of a sudden the owner's like, yeah, you're Isaiah Thomas. What do you think I should do? Then he starts to feel like, yeah, me and Isaiah Thomas.
Has that ever happened here in Sacramento? Ever? Can anyone think of a time when an owner really liked a player and was like, wow, ex-player, you have some good ideas. Maybe you should be running things.
It's only happened twice that I can recall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's a natural thing. Owners go through that. Maybe they learn.
How many times has it worked? Marvin Bagley.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No,
So
it just doesn't work.
You're talking Vlade. I'm thinking more Chris Mullin.
That one was really bad. And both of those are shining examples. Perfect. I wasn't even thinking Chris Mullin. Chris Mullin might have even been a bigger hindrance to this franchise than Vlade actually was, which is crazy to say. But it just doesn't work out. Like, Chris Mullin's a perfect example here in Sacramento. He had Vivek's ear, told Vivek to fire Mike Malone. That didn't work out well. Vlade Divac is like, Vlade has Vivek's trust. After that whole situation pans out, Vivek is like, oh, cool. Another guy who has tons of NBA experience that I can trust. You've been in the NBA before. I'll let you run things. You must know what's happening. It's not how it works. That is not how it works. We just talked about me and Jay did, and I'm sure you did on Friday as well, about Michael Jordan and his whole tenure.
Yeah.
There's just because you were in the league, just because you saw the game a certain way when you played, does not mean at all that you have any idea what you're talking about when you're talking about building a team. As a matter of fact, most of the time, the great coaches or GMs who were ex-players were role players. More times than not, it's guys who, were on the fringes. And, I think, Steve Kerr is really the one that sticks out to me most. But, like, there's a lot of time. Doc Rivers is another guy, okay player, not a superstar, not a Hall of Famer, but something about these star players, it doesn't seem like they get it.
By the way, do you know that sale has not gone through yet? So Michael Jordan is still running the draft.
Yes, he will be making that pick on Thursday. I think I
saw that he would be talking to them, but he didn't have to.
No. I think I saw him.
Pretty important.
He's supposed to be meeting with Scoot and Brandon Miller this week. I think yesterday he met with Scoot and Brandon Miller again. So I would not feel good about that. I would be like, can this guy just go? Like, I thought he said he was out and he's hosting draft workouts. Don't like that.
Mm-hmm. Coming up next, football season's coming too.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. Pro Football Focus says the 49ers are the best in the league. At which position? The answer is next on Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Being a letter carrier and walking 20,000 steps, which equals up to about 10 miles a day, it's tough. I really didn't have feet problems. I had back problems. I had had as many epidurals that I could possibly have in 1 year. That was scary. Well, I've been delivering letters to the Good Feet store for over 6 years, and the expert there finally convinced me to try their arch supports.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Keith actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
The people at the Good Feet store really educated me about what the arch supports could actually do. And lo and behold, I have no more back problems. The future I can see now. I couldn't see it before. Where I would be without them, I have no clue. I'm Keith, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is Pre-Tection. Yep, Pre-Tection. The everyday skin protection ritual that protects your skin from mosquitoes. Pre-barbecue. Pre-playground. Pre-everything. Pre-every day. Prevention is the best protection. This summer, make sure you have OFF, the #1 dermatologist recommended repellent brand. SC Johnson, a family company.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Sitting at your desk, watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
We've gotten to the bottom of one of the rumors that came across the YouTube chat. Thanks to Dwayne Baker for bringing this to our attention. Doesn't look like there's a lot to it necessarily. He's Watkins. I'm Whitey. Dwayne Baker suggested there was a rumor linking the Warriors and the Kings, and it would be whatever it was, a draft pick and Mitchell and Rashawn Holmes. Yeah. Is your mic?
Oh, there we go. There we go. That was my fault. That was my fault. Mic off. Yeah, it was
for Wiggins.
Wiggins, yes. It was pick swap, Holmes, Davion, and a first-round pick this year as well. Not going to happen.
Yeah, Mitchell Holmes, first-round pick swap.
Yeah. The sourcing on it was NBAanalysis.net. Never heard of it. So, and then not much of anything there.
Who's their source? Themselves?
Their source was themselves. Yes. It says, as they literally in here, it says potential trade candidates for the Kings were recently brought up as the offseason gets ready to begin. Among the players mentioned was Golden State Warriors forward Andrew Wiggins. And then it has a hyperlink out where it says mentioned. So it's like, oh yeah, I would love to see where it says that among the candidates for potential trade, let's see where this was mentioned. Well, it was mentioned on NBAanalysis.net.
So they mentioned it.
They mentioned
so
it.
The sources themselves.
It is themselves in a random article that they titled "Kingsland Warriors Andrew Wiggins in bold NBA trade scenario."
Yeah,
and that's so sad. It is so sad. That's so sad. I would love it to be true. I think that's great. Great return for what they send out. Andrew Wiggins would be a good piece here in Sacramento. I think it's kind of an elevated Harrison Barnes, and you're not giving up a ton for it. But it's not true.
No, it's
there's no.
But thank you, Dwayne.
Thank
for
you.
bringing that to our
I
attention.
appreciate
so we
it.
could track that down.
Yeah. And if it happens,
there'll be a lot of that this week.
Yeah,
for better and for worse.
God, so many smoke screens. I mean, we already hear: is Zion going to be traded? Is Brandon Ingram going to be traded? Will the number 3
What's the
pick
latest
be
with
traded?
Zion and his girlfriend?
Well, I actually saw yesterday.
Pretty one-sided.
It is very one-sided.
She tweeted something yesterday, right?
She tweeted something yesterday that she's got receipts. She's got video receipts.
Her
if
name
you catch
is
my drift.
Mariah
Mills,
yeah,
I think
something
Mims
like
or
that.
Mills or something.
Yeah, something Mills. Yeah.
And she said she will release the files if the Pelicans. She's actually, the gist of the tweet is, Pelicans, you should trade Zion soon because I'm going to release
a video of them being intimate.
Videos of them being intimate. Yes,
Huh.
thank you. Yes, and so that's the latest on Zion, is that his life off the court is very public at this point, and it just seems like he's gonna get dragged.
If
He's
you're
just
the
gonna get dragged.
Pelicans, does that make you any more inclined to trade him? Because when you think about it, it's like it's a lot of noise, but I mean, it's unfortunate. He's married to someone else, or I don't even know if he's married.
Well, actually, all of this actually kicked off because Zion had a gender reveal video that he posted onto YouTube, and I believe that is just his. I don't even know if they're together or anything. Who knows how NBA players move these days? But so he released the gender reveal video, and then after that, all hell broke loose, and that's kind of led to where we are today. So I guess, like, my thing is, I wouldn't move him now if I'm the Pelicans, because his value will presumably never be this low again unless his injuries continue, which is a very real possibility. But I'm just not for shipping somebody off when their value is as low as humanly possible. And for the on the floor reasons, he hasn't played in what feels like forever. And then also all of this going on off the floor. I just don't feel like now is the time if you're trying to truly max out what a Zion Williamson could get you.
According to reports, and as we just discussed, you never know how reliable they are.
Yeah.
But according to reports, Charlotte would maybe talk to the Pelicans about the 2 pick, because supposedly New Orleans would love to get Scoot, your boy Scoot, but Charlotte would be more interested in Ingram than Zion Williamson.
That's so strange to me. I mean, like, I know Zion has all of those questions, but to me, Zion's a lot more. I don't know if Brandon Ingram is worth the number 2 pick in the trade. Like, Brandon Ingram's really good. Is he changing your calculus? Like, is Brandon Ingram a potential star for the next 5 to 8 years? Like, I think what you can get with Scoot Henderson is truly that. And again, I'm a proponent of take Scoot, and even if the fit doesn't work, if Scoot's talented enough, he'll still have value. And I think Scoot's value is a lot higher potential than what Brandon Ingram's is. And so if I'm moving number 2, I'm not doing it unless it's for Zion. And I know, I've talked about it, but I think Zion to Charlotte makes a lot of sense. He's a South Carolina kid, if I'm not mistaken. He's from South Carolina.
Do you think there's any scooting in that video? I don't even know what that means, but I just wanted to ask
it
sounds like something, but
I'm not
Your
gonna touch
thoughts?
that. I'm not going to touch that one.
Okay.
Not going
All
to
right.
touch that one.
Thanks. Yeah.
No, I'm just going to stay away from that one. There's a lot. I really hope we don't see. I will not be.
I
will
wouldn't
not be doing any
I
investigative.
don't know if you can
journalism on
legally
that.
do that.
I don't
Just release
think
something like that.
So that seems like it should be a crime.
Sign a waiver.
Yeah, I believe that is very illegal.
Yeah. I think there's a whole category of which
she can
that's
threaten and
considered.
everything, but-
Yeah. Interesting. Should be
And
interesting.
it might even be illegal to just like possess something of that nature without somebody's
Really?
knowledge.
Is this kind of already blackmail in a I guess she's not really extorting him for
it's
anything.
more like gray mail.
Yeah, it's close. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
yeah,
it's
she's
like-
living in that. Yeah, she's kind of living in that borderline area right now. Yeah.
But, you know, just this.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. She's getting close. I don't know. It's the whole situation is so strange. It's not. I wouldn't blame New Orleans for just shipping him off because this is strange. This is like just a weird situation to be in, and like it's. I would. It's very unwelcomed,
and it has little to do with this. Just because I understand everything you said about Zion and what kind of an impact he can have on your franchise. But to me, it's like, I don't think his body can support him. And I mean, I'm not taking a cheap shot at him for his weight or anything, but he generates so much tremendous force.
Yeah.
And guys big and strong like that who start to have lower leg injuries.
Right.
That's really risky going forward.
No,
and he's young and he still isn't playing.
There's no way that
don't
at
want to
32,
assume those risks.
Yeah. There's no way at 32
he blew up
Zion's
his
gonna be playing
shoe.
this way.
That's how much power he generates.
Yes. No, absolutely. I just can't see it. I think he's got to change his body if it's going to work out because he is a specimen. Like people who are that large aren't supposed to get that high off the ground.
Yeah.
And at some point something's going to give. And right now it's looking like what's going to give is his legs. Like I just can't see him at 32 carrying that kind of weight and still being anywhere near as explosive as he is now. And that's his game also. Like he's not a really skilled guy. I mean, he can pass, but his game is getting to the rim with ease.
Speaking of guys carrying a heavy load, if you're a 49er fan, are you worried about, and I know you're not really, but if you were, Christian McCaffrey and the heavy load he's carrying. You got him for a whole year now.
I know.
Presumably.
It's going to be scary.
Yeah, Pro Football Focus has named their top 5 running back rooms in the league. Number 5, Indy. Number 4, Tennessee. Number 3, Cleveland. Number 2, Atlanta. And number 1, top running back situation in the NFL, San Francisco 49ers.
Definitely. I mean, when you got Christian McCaffrey, who can do just about everything as a running back, I mean, is a phenomenal running back, a phenomenal catcher of the football. I mean, he's already one of the best, running backs that we have in the game. And then you throw on the fact his backup is Elijah Mitchell, who is a fan, he's shown ability. If he can stay healthy and, at a backup role, you would hope to assume that he will stay healthy for a little bit longer. And then they have all their other guys, the Jordan Masons, the Ty Davis Prices of the world, who, was still, the jury's out on them, but they're picks. Like those are high picks, and they've shown capable ability to be solid backs.
Christian McCaffrey, 4.9 yards per carry, 30 missed tackles on just under 200 rushing attempts. And Pro Football Focus gave him a receiving grade
of
91.9, best in the entire NFL.
Wow. And that's not even including their receiver running back, who is Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
And, you assume Deebo's probably going to get a whole lot less carries with McCaffrey there now, but I mean, the 49ers running attack is going to be what sets them apart this year. Like it's the thing that really, is their North Star. Like if they can run the ball,
everything is based on that
everything.
Offensively.
Yep. Absolutely.
Run the ball that sets up the play action. It all starts with that. That's one of the reasons why quarterback is less important to them than it is to other teams, even though still it's obviously vitally important. Exactly. It all starts with running the football.
All starts with running the football.
Kind of an old school philosophy.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, they haven't been able to run this system with a running back as good as Christian McCaffrey either. So it'll be interesting how much, they might lean on run heavy. Like you might not see as many passes as before, even because, the run game might just be working flat out and they don't need to set up anything else because Christian McCaffrey is truly that good.
I didn't see how high on the list your Vikings are. They didn't.
Well,
up, but I'm sure they're on there.
If they would have kept Dalvin Cook, it probably would have been near top 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
They may be.
Now they got Alexander Madison, who's probably bottom 5 running back.
We'll see where they are. Yeah. Also coming up, what do the Kings need? How much of it can they get in this draft? Next, Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
The Kings season might be over, but Sactown Sports coverage never stops.
Guys on other teams, when they look at the Sacramento Kings, they feel that this is a fun brand of basketball to play.
Stay tuned all off-season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
You've heard all of his greatest hits.
I don't want to be anything other than what
And now's your chance to see Grammy-nominated multi-platinum singer-songwriter Gavin DeGraw live at Gold Country Casino Resort in Oroville.
You ask me how I'm doing.
Get your tickets now to see Gavin DeGraw, Friday, June 23rd at 8 p.m. Only at
Gold Country Casino Resort.
Must be 21 or older. Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BC. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Summertime is a great time to get your home evaluated for solar, and while you're at it, make sure your roof is in good shape for all seasons. Hey, Jason Ross here to tell you about ACR Solar and Home Services. Go to acrsolar.com to find out all the different things that they can provide for you. And while we're all watching utility costs go up, along with everything else, why not make the most of the sunshine beating down on your roof? Harness that solar power and cut those rising utility bills while at the same time improving the value of your home. ACR Solar and Home Services makes it easy with a simple evaluation that'll show you just what it would take to get your home generating savings that help your bottom line and help protect the environment. So start now, and while you're there, ACR Solar and Home Services can make sure your roof is in prime condition. So just go to acrsolar.com and start your savings today. ACR Solar and Home Services, quality, value, and integrity since 1979.
Oh, God, he's back.
Who's back?
The clown.
The naked one?
Yes, Giggles. He just drove on the lot in a new Kia.
Does he want to trade it in?
No, he wants to show it off.
Isn't he showing off enough? Oh, here he comes.
See what Elk Grove Kia did for me? That's service. That's why they got my business, not you.
Yeah, I think we've already seen too much of your business. Thank you.
Elk Grove Kia, great service for everyone.
Elk Grove Kia has never made it easier for you to show it off. Like the hottest all-electric EV in the market, the luxurious EV6. Save big with lease specials of $10,000 below MSRP. Not just one or two, but every EV6 in stock. And don't worry about credit. No credit, bad credit, charge-offs, repos. Don't worry. Our team has over 100 years of experience. Others say no. Elk Grove Kia says yes. Get your EV6 today at Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or elkgrovekia.com and show it off today.
Elk Grove Kia.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Are you one of those players that finishes a round, takes off your golf shoes, and dumps them in your car trunk? Golf Digest says you can extend the life of your shoes with just a bit of care. Use a little warm water and maybe a drop of soap to wipe away any dirt after your round. Actually, I just wipe mine with a wet towel when I take them off, and they stay looking like new. Also, use shoe trees to maintain their shape and keep the insides dry. If you have more than one pair, rotate them so you don't wear the same shoes 2 days in a row. Change your spikes because new spikes will help you get more traction for your faster than necessary swing. And with Sacramento's hot summers, give your shoes a break and don't leave them in the trunk of your car. That will suck the life right out of them. With so many brands, styles, and colors on the market today, you can certainly find the right pair for your personality and your game. When you think about it, golf shoes are really part of your equipment. Treat them well. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
New flooring instantly updates a room. RC Willie has an incredible selection of carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate. Their experts will help you find the perfect floor for your home and schedule a free in-home measure. Shop RC Willie in Elk Grove or Rockland today.
from the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Keeping you company with the company. It's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Welcome to Draft Week, NBA draft coverage brought to you by Power Business Technology. For all your business office equipment needs, contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. Chris, I know you're deep into your research here, getting ready to be part of our draft night special. What would you say it is that the Kings need most of all, whether they can address it in the draft or not? And then the other side of that coin, to what extent can they address those needs in the upcoming draft at pick 24 as we speak? Anyway, we'll see if that changes.
I think they need to address wing depth.
Yes.
And preferably a 3-and-D wing at that.
See, every time I'm on with JJ, I say that, and he says, and he's right, but he says everybody needs that. And it's true.
Yes. Everybody's
looking. It's really important.
Yes. Every single person is looking for someone who can space the floor and at the same time not be a liability on defense. That is the thing. That is what everyone is looking for. And that's the problem. I guess it's a problem with this draft is there's a lot of guys who aren't good shooters. And so a lot of guys might provide really good defense, but their shooting's a big question mark, or they're a capable defender, a really good slasher, but they just can't shoot. There's not a lot of pure. I mean, there's a good handful of pure shooters in this, but there's not. There aren't those ready-made 3-and-D guys, and if there are any, they're at the top. Brandon Miller is somebody who's a great shooter, and provides a lot of length, and he can theoretically be a high-end 3-and-D guy. But besides that, you look at everyone else, and there's a question of jump shot, or can they stay on the floor defensively? It's kind of a one or the other thing, and you're really just kind of hoping that the development comes along the way.
I agree with you, and so does, I think it was Kevin O'Connor.
Hey, that's
Ringer.
A good person to agree with.
Kings are having a moment. Let's see. Keegan Murray is a keeper on the wing, can assume a larger role in the event Sacramento lets Harrison Barnes walk in restricted free agency. Regardless, he says, adding more size on the wing or a stretchy forward who can guard up a position and moonlight as a backup 5 would make Sabonis's life much easier. So, what do the Kings need? More size on the wing and or a stretchy big who can guard up a position, moonlight as a backup 5. That's why, like, Jerry Reynolds is saying, Naz Reid. I know a lot of people have said Naz Reid. I don't think you're as high on Naz Reid as some, but that's a type of player.
What does that even mean? Yeah, I think people are at this point. Naz Reid is Hakeem Olajuwon. For people. So not quite that high.
I do think there's a good chance, from what I know of the draft, that they can find some 3-and-D wing help in the draft. Maybe not, but there are a lot of guys who should be available when they pick who could address those needs.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I've seen a lot of mock drafts recently. Mock that. Get ready for this name.
Okay.
There are a couple guys in this draft who my first thought of if the Kings draft them is I feel so bad for Scott Moak, because he's got to come up with, how do you say Oliver Maxence Prosper?
Yes.
I know he goes by Omax, and that's what everyone's going to call him, and that's definitely a lot better. But Scott Moak, I'm thinking about you, man. If the Kings take Oliver Omax Prosper, I don't know what you're going to do with that one.
That's an unusual combination, but none of those are really hard to say.
No, there's not. No, there's
Wembanyama's teammate is a guy. I struggle with his name a little bit. I just haven't. Bilal
Koulibaly.
Koulibaly.
Yes. Wemba who? There's
Wembayaya.
That'll never get old for me. There's Omax. There's Brandon Podzemski from Santa Clara's another really tough one. Sidi Sissoko is, that at least rolls off the tongue, but a second round pick that they can go after is Trace Jackson Davis. That's just a mouthful.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of good prospects out there around where the Kings are picking, where you could see them just being an instant fit for this team. And I'm starting to kind of form what I think a perfect draft night would look like.
Ooh.
And it's mainly predicated a lot on defense. I think the Kings can really benefit this draft from just finding guys who are ready now, capable NBA bodied defenders. And we saw last year that was where the Kings really, really, really needed help. And, bringing in some rookies, they have 3 picks. If they can get 1 or 2 guys who can come off the bench and be some plus defenders, I think that's a huge get for the Kings heading into free agency as well.
What do you think of this notion? We had a Yahoo draft expert on Friday when I was on with JJ, and I asked her if the Kings with their second pick have a chance to pick a guy who may be as good as the guy they get at 24.
Yes.
She said no. She said no, there's a big drop off there. But I think there's a chance.
I think there's absolutely a chance. And I mean, that's also, dependent on who's available there. And maybe somebody who's supposed to go in the first round falls to the second round or anything like that. Like, I think I've heard, Trace Jackson Davis's name is definitely a riser right now, but he's somebody who I've seen mocked a lot in the second round. And for the Kings specifically at that pick, I think that there's potential. He can be a ready-made backup center. I'm a really big fan of Jaime Jaquez. I think he might be available at 36. I think he could be a really good player. I even think that there's potential that the Kings could take a guy like Jalen Clark, who's from UCLA, who was their best defender and then got hurt. I think there's potential he could be there at 54 and even be the best player that the Kings take. There's a lot of guys that I really, really like in the second round. Jordan Walsh out of Arkansas is another guy that I'm a big fan of, big defender.
How much upside for him and for guys in this? Like, Jaquez is not going to be a star, but he could definitely help them.
Yes.
As a wing.
So I think the thing about those second round guys and the later first round guys that I want the Kings to take is it's not even necessarily about the ceiling. It's more about the floor. And I think a lot of the guys have a very high floor in the sense of that they're going to be a role bench player. Maybe a couple guys are able to get some spot starts here and there depending on the rotation, but I think that there's a lot of opportunity for the Kings to draft ready now guys who are ready to impact winning next season. And that's huge for a team that is really just a couple pieces away from being different. And, if they can get a rotation player for 2 of those 3 spots, which is kind of a big ask at those positions, but if they can do it, I mean, that's how you elevate your game to, okay, maybe the Kings were a fringe first round exit to maybe they could make the conference finals. Like, that's the kind of jump they can make in the next couple of years.
12 Mulatu says that Naz Reid is the answer. Says Reid's not a Olajuwon dude, but he is a player who has shown he's ready for prime time. And we also have this from Steve Marcotte. I think you need to come up with an all NBA team.
Yes.
Difficult names to pronounce.
Oh yeah, that's coming. Yeah. We'll do that. Maybe that could be our next mock draft.
Yes.
Most difficult names, but also good players. Yes, we'll do that.
Oh, they have to be good players too. Not
it makes it better.
Yeah,
we can do. He hate me all day or something.
Okay.
We'll
so you do think there's a chance, as we discussed earlier, that my dream scenario would come true and the Kings would end up with Dariq Whitehead. I know everybody loves. Yeah. Oh, get Keegan's twin, and that's fine.
That's
I don't
cute.
think he's gonna be there. Yeah, that's okay.
Adorable.
But Dariq Whitehead to me is a chance to be a star.
Yeah. I think he's got the chance to be a star. If you're trying to just take a straight upside pick, that's the one to go. The question for me is, and you're gonna laugh because I say don't draft for fit, but the question is fit. Like, I don't know if he's necessarily got a ready-made path for minutes. With Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter in front of him, and then
he's 6'6".
He's 6'6", so maybe you can steal some minutes at the 3. But as a rookie, I don't know if his body's quite there yet. There's potential there, and that's if the Kings want to use 24. Maybe they use 24 as their upside swing, and then use the 2 second-round picks for more ready now guys. That's also the beauty of this. The Kings are in a really good position where the world is kind of their oyster in terms of what direction they want to go with these picks. They can either go for, all right, now is the time to actually take some developmental guys, or they can go with some Chris Murrays, some Trace Jackson Davis, guys who are ready more right now.
Now, who wants Harrison Barnes? Well, it turns out a couple teams want Harrison Barnes. Tell you who when we come right back. Sactown Sports.
Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track, makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Pain is not normal. Repeat, pain is not normal. Greetings, Sacramento. Doug Christie here with the Good Feet store. Does this sound familiar? It's the end of the workday, and the pain in your feet, knees, hips, or back is unrelenting. Good Feet understands that you've likely already tried assorted remedies and solutions with no relief. And now you're pretty much resigned to living with the pain. But do not give in to the pain. Instead, come to the Good Feet store for their end-to-end 3-step arch support system. Good Feet is the nation's largest manufacturer and retailer of personalized arch supports. With arch supports in over 300 sizes, styles, and flexibilities, and an arch support specialist in each store. Come in today for a free, no-obligation arch support fitting, then take them for a test walk around the store or around the center. Experience the comfort, balance, and support possible with the Good Feet system. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now in Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
I don't know how, I don't know why, I just know it's a fact. Chris Watkins is on a personal crusade to make sure Naz Reid doesn't come. I don't know what it's about.
Trying to send the dogs at me.
You just spent the last 90 seconds.
I did.
Running down Naz Reid.
I did. Hey, look, let me make this public address. It's not that I don't like Naz Reid. I like Naz Reid. Yeah. He is a really solid player. He's 11 points per game last year. Played 68 games, 11 starts. Those are
had his moments against the Kings too, which
I
sometimes can
exactly.
kind of
that sways people.
Yes.
That absolutely sways people. You see a guy here, you see him dominate. You're like, well, this is the guy that we need. This is the exact guy we need. He's a great scorer. I mean, he played 18 minutes per game last year and averaged 11.5 points. That is a guy who is very, very good in terms of scoring the basketball. Rebounds, just under 5, and again, at 19 minutes per game. So you extrapolate that out to per 36, which is obviously, those averages stretched out to 36 minutes. 22 and 9.6. That sounds really, really good. If you're getting 22 and 9 out of your center in 36 minutes, that's borderline all-star numbers. The problem is Naz Reid averages 5 fouls per 36 minutes. Which tells you the man really, really, really desperately struggles to defend without fouling.
You're not going to get a lot of rim protection then from a guy who's fouling a lot?
No. And again,
Putting
Naz
the other
Reid
team in the bonus
might be a good offensive option as a backup for this team. Sure. But he's not helping you where you really need it in terms of rim protection. And I hear people say he can start at the 4. I'm
YouTube
terrified to
chat
look at the YouTube chat. I might just take a hiatus the rest of the day from the YouTube chat. I think he's a good player. I'm very, and just the amount of times I've heard Naz Reid's name brought up by fans, it just really sends me back to the Dwayne Dedmon times where Kings fans will get really riled up about somebody, get really excited, feel like, oh, this is the exact fit that we need.
Okay,
and then
but
it comes
compared
here
to
and it's
him,
like,
I
all
understand your point. Compared to him, I mean, Naz Reid is Elijah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Compared to Dwayne Dedmon, he's Hakeem Olajuwon and Dedmon's more like Michael Olowokandi compared.
Naz Olajuwon.
Naz Olajuwon is he is talented. Like, I'm not saying he's not a good player, but the way that I hear the high regard in which I hear Kings fans hold Naz Reid is it's just a little bit much. And again, he's a really good player. He's really, really physical, but I just don't know if he necessarily solves the actual problems that the Kings have. He might just be another good scoring option, which is fine, but at some point, the Kings do need to address defense, especially at their bigs.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused about the defensive end and where they need to be for this reason. And I know they were not a good defensive team. Okay, I know that. Denver last year won the championship. I think they were 15th in defensive rating.
Yeah.
I have to double check.
Yeah,
it.
you just got to be
and
average. And it took them a long time.
Championship.
Yeah.
And we also know that in the postseason, the Kings looked like a different team defensively.
Sure.
So I'm not sure what they are.
I don't either. Yeah, I mean they looked like like you said, a completely different team in the postseason when it came to defense.
Regular season, they were
terrible.
Ghastly.
I mean, they were top. They were the worst defense of any playoff or play-in team heading into the playoffs. Like they were legitimately terrible defensively last year. They have to and maybe they take some of that playoff intensity. They now understand what it takes, and maybe they set that as a baseline foundation for where their defense should be next year. But I still think they just don't have the personnel who are good defenders. I think they maxed out how good of a defensive team they could have been last year with the tools they have. They need more wing guys. You're not going to be able to defend in this league without length, athleticism, and speed. And the Kings didn't have that at the wing position. They had Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray, who are two of the slower forwards in the NBA. They need to get younger. They need to get quicker. They need to get longer.
That's why I'm nowhere near the Dillon Brooks boat and put everything about it, his personality, and he's a dog and he trash talks. Just put that aside. As far as what he gives you basketball wise, to me, if you bring him in, does he improve you defensively? Well, yeah, you look at the way he guards people, but you would give up so much offensively. I'm not willing to make that trade-off because offense is that's the foundation of what I'm doing right now.
Right.
So to me, just on basketball reason alone, I don't want anything to do with Dillon Brooks.
No, I'm good. I mean, the basketball, I just think offensively, like you're saying, he just doesn't really fit in. He shoots too much.
Bad shots.
Takes way too many bad shots, and that's a killer for this Kings offense. This Kings offense is all about movement and getting the most open
bad
look
shots
possible.
are the blood relatives of turnovers.
Yes,
you just
absolutely.
can't have them.
Yeah,
Kill you.
it's a possession killer, and it's a momentum killer. It also really affects team morale, which I think is a big part of Dillon Brooks's under no circumstances coming back to Memphis. I think a lot of it is when you have other guys that you feel are more worthy of taking those shots. When Dillon Brooks is taking those, everybody looks around and is like, oh, geez, like,
dude, that's Jaren Jackson Jr. That's Desmond Bane right there.
That's Desmond Bane and Luke Kennard, who are two of literally percentage-wise the best shooters in the NBA.
Yeah.
I don't want Dillon Brooks, who's at 27% from three or whatever, taking that three. So I'm agreeing with you. I'm completely off of Dillon Brooks. I mean, again, even for the minimum, like it's let somebody else take that risk. The Kings aren't in that game anymore.
I think you touched on this, but I think it's a bit of a conundrum why the Kings appear to be ready to move on from Harrison Barnes when he's not a bad defender. He's been a solid defender. They're not a good defensive team. So why are they apparently so willing to move off of Harrison Barnes?
Yeah, I think it's just that's a good question. It's a very, very fair question. And I think they're kind of playing a risky game. Like I think we're seeing that with the options that we really look out there. Like again, Kyle Kuzma. It's clearly like I would say clearly like an offensive upgrade for sure, but
he takes a lot of bad shots too.
He does. But defensively, it's not there. Like there's nothing proven there. And so I think that's going to have to be part of the Kings calculation. Absolutely.
Do you think Kyle Kuzma's going to opt out now after they traded it?
He should. I would not opt in. That's for sure. I'd be like, I'm good. I think I'll find my own place. And, I don't have a no trade clause on my contract. So I'd like to be in charge of where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they ship off Porzingis, though. I've heard rumors that they're going to ask Porzingis to opt in and then ship off his contract because Porzingis, kind of like a Draymond situation. I think Porzingis is slotted to make somewhere near $30 million next year. And so,
by the way, I think Porzingis would be a good fit here, but I don't know if
I
they have the minutes.
Oh my God. And as I've documented, I was a big fan of Chet Holmgren being that guy that the Kings went after last year in the draft. And I think Porzingis is just a different version of what Chet would provide. I think he's definitely more of a 4, especially.
We know the Wizards and the Kings have already had some conversation, so maybe the framework of something is in place already.
Hey, sometimes it's not about the deal you make, it's about the deal that it sets up. And so, you're right. Like that, the conversation has been had between the Wizards' new GM,
Michael Winger,
and Monty McNair. They discussed the Bradley Beal thing. Maybe they were like, hey, as we were talking about the Beal thing, it seemed like you had real interest in bringing Kevin Huerter and Rashawn Holmes over. What do you think about that package for Porzingis instead? And, again, that still runs into the Beal issue of that's a lot of money, but at least it's only 1 year.
Also runs into Zinger. Like, you want me to opt in? Okay, where are you going to trade me? You don't know where you're going to trade me? Then no.
Exactly. Right.
So,
I would like it. I would very much welcome a Kristaps Porzingis move over here to Sacramento. He's a great shooter. He's a good weak side defender as well. Like really, really good at that's where he gets a majority of his blocks.
He's not great at switching out on the perimeter on people.
No.
So that's not his thing.
Not ideal. And that would be the deficiency is offense or defensively. Yeah. If you get either Sabonis or Porzingis switched on to any guards.
He's like a guy on stilts trying to guard somebody. But, a lot of bigs are like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Look at Rudy Gobert against Steph Curry. But I think, it would give you more size. I mean, Porzingis is a legitimate 7'3". And he can shoot the hell out of the ball. So that would help spacing wise. I would welcome it, but I could see how that just wouldn't work.
So who wants Harrison Barnes? I know there have been some somewhat shadowy reports about teams that have interest in him, including a team that currently employs one of his former Kings teammates.
Yes, and his former head coach as well. Mark Stein reported on his Substack yesterday saying that there could be a potential reunion for Harrison Barnes and Tyrese Halliburton, as well as his former coach, Rick Carlisle.
Wow.
Yeah, in Indiana.
What about NBA Analysis, whatever that was?
NBAanalysis.net has Harrison Barnes being traded, actually sign and trade to Milwaukee for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Wow, okay.
Could work.
There's a rumor.
Could work.
Sure.
Yeah. It's on the website. It's on the internet, so it's got to be semi-true. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see Harrison Barnes garnering interest from other teams out there. It kind of seemed this was going to be part of it when the Kings weren't going to be very committal to Harrison. You had to assume that, Harrison's got to be his own businessman and he's got to go field offers himself. He's not just going to sit back and wait for the Kings to make their decision. So it could be a little bit of posture, it could be a little bit of negotiating, getting some, hey, like people out there want me, Kings. Like you can't just have me sit and wait for you guys. And I think it's legit. And I think the Indiana fit doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I could see the Dallas thing, which he's also been rumored to make a return back to Dallas. That makes some sense to me. I could see Harrison being a real steadying presence for that Dallas team and very low maintenance, so wouldn't need the ball in his hands.
Get 4 shots a game there.
He's like,
Harrison,
say less. That's where I'm comfortable. That's what I like to do. So I could see it. I could see the Mavericks fit. It would just be, I think the big thing for Harrison at this point, he's 30 years old, last opportunity to really lock down a long, big contract. I think it's going to be all about money and how much you're willing to pay him.
Well, he won't want to stay here if the Kings are going after your guy, Draymond Green.
I don't think so. No, I definitely don't think so. I definitely think that would definitely make Harrison leave actively. You'd be like, oh, Draymond's coming?
Yeah.
Well, I'm leaving.
Yeah, that's a bonus. Like, hold on, leave the door open for me. I'm right behind you. The weird thing about Harrison Barnes when we come back, also his jaw tweet. This has nothing to do with Harrison Barnes, but there's a football player whose jaw tweet just became one of the worst tweets of all time. Tell you all about that next. Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
The Kings season might be over, but Sactown Sports coverage never stops.
Expectations coming into the season and how we performed. I mean, it's one of the more special seasons that I've had in my 11 years.
Stay tuned all off-season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by R.C. Willey Home Furnishings.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Tuesday forecast is bright and sunny. Less wind to go around today, and temperatures this afternoon will hike into the upper 70s to low 80s. Expect overnight lows in the low 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
New flooring instantly updates a room. RC Willey has an incredible selection of carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate. Their experts will help you find the perfect floor for your home and schedule a free in-home measure. Shop RC Willey in Elk Grove or Rockland today.
Greetings from M&S Auto on El Camino just off the Cap City Freeway. And a big thanks to our repeat customers for letting us be your favorite car dealer. Repeat customers make us proud. M&S customers know that they're going to find the car, 4x4, or SUV they want. They'll get treated like family and save thousands. Whether you're a repeat customer or a first-time buyer, welcome. M&S Auto, the intelligent car buying experience. MSAutogroup.com.
You could throw your flip-flop at a bug.
Ew, a bug, get it.
But the chances of actually hitting it
Over there.
are statistically
It's still alive.
unlikely. Good thing nature's got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants like lemongrass and geraniol and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. Stem, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Oh, God, he's back.
Who's back?
The clown.
The naked one?
Yes, Giggles. He just drove on the lot in a new Kia.
What, does he want to trade it in?
No, he wants to show it off.
Isn't he showing off enough? Oh, here he comes.
See what Elk Grove Kia did for me? That's service. That's why they got my business, not you.
I think we've already seen too much of your business. Thank you.
Elk Grove Kia, great service for everyone.
Elk Grove Kia has never made it easier for you to show it off. Like the hottest all-electric EV in the market, the luxurious EV6. Save big with lease specials of $10,000 below MSRP. Not just one or two, but every EV6 in stock. Don't worry about credit. No credit, bad credit, charge-offs, repos. Don't worry. Our team has over 100 years of experience. Others say no. Elk Grove Kia says yes. Get your EV6 today at Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or elkgrovekia.com and show it off today.
Elk Grove Kia.
Sactown Sports
Headlines. I'm Chris Rolado with your Sactown Sports Headlines. Over the weekend, it was announced that the Washington Wizards and Phoenix Suns agreed to a blockbuster trade, with the Wizards sending three-time All-Star Bradley Beal along with Jordan Goodwin and Isaiah Todd, to the Suns' Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, several second-round picks, and pick swaps. The deal has not been finalized while the Wizards look for another team to send Chris Paul to. MLB announced today that the San Francisco Giants and St. Louis Cardinals will be playing at Rickwood Field, the oldest professional ballpark in the United States and former home of Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro Leagues. On June 20th next year, the game will be a tribute to the Negro Leagues and Hall of Famer and former San Francisco Giant, Willie Mays. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
Getting ready for the NBA draft, NBA free agency. Looks like Harrison Barnes has some teams that are interested in him, as best we can tell anyway. Indiana Pacers, Dallas Mavericks,
Interesting. Very interesting.
Odd thing about HB, and we all know what he's capable of. He seems like a guy, if I'm being brutally honest, like a guy who you look at his numbers and you watch him play and you feel like he seems like he's better than he is. And you made a great comparison earlier when I mentioned that. You said kind of like Tobias Harris.
Yeah. I mean, there's like a category of guys that really fit into that mold, and it's really
his numbers are solid.
They're really solid. Yeah. If you don't watch a single game of Tobias, in my opinion, Tobias Harris, Harrison Barnes, and Andrew Wiggins, those three guys, if you just look at the numbers, you're like, these guys are like any team would love to have those three guys. But for whatever reason, when you end up watching them, their impact just isn't there. And all three of those guys have a real tendency to just disappear. Like there'll be games when, the Warriors will be like, we could really use a guy who could just get us 20 plus points per game on a routine basis. And Andrew Wiggins is sitting right there. And a lot of sometimes for a week or 2 weeks, he'll be that guy, but then just disappears. And Tobias Harris has gone through spurts. I mean, when he was on the Clippers and before he got traded to Philly, he looked like he was a 1 or 2 option.
Yes.
And then got traded to Philly as the 3rd or 4th option and has just looked really, really okay.
And still has those games every so often where you go, wow.
No, yeah, I think Tobias Harris is more best scorer. And then Harrison Barnes is a version of that as well. And me and Frankie have said it for years doing the podcast. When Harrison Barnes played well, the Kings usually played well. And that was because Harrison was so skilled. And I always say it, and it's always my biggest frustration with Harrison. I almost expect too much out of him because there isn't a thing that Harrison Barnes can't do on the basketball floor. He is good at everything. But too often, he's just doing nothing. Instead of picking one thing where it's like, I can impact the game here, I can impact the game. It's just never a complete effort. And that's why it's so hard to be a star in the NBA, absolutely. But just too often times, Harrison was too okay with being the 3rd or 4th guy. And it's like, dude, like, you're the most veteran guy on this team. There's points where you've been the highest paid player on this team. Go make your imprint. And I don't care if we lose, but I would much rather lose with saying, man, Harrison was really letting it fly out there.
I wonder if he is okay with it, or just that's the way it works out sometimes, where, clearly the offense goes through Sabonis and it goes through Fox later in the game. And I wonder if maybe Harrison Barnes feels like he would rather be someplace where he is more of a primary option. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
you talk to people who know him. I don't know him. You may know him. And there's people say his character is like flawless.
It's crazy.
So I'm not suggesting he's all about him. He's not. People have great admiration for him. But, you have an idea of yourself as a player.
Right.
I'm not sure he's comfortable with the lesser role that he's had here over the last year or so. And I think ideally for the Kings, he'd be willing to take an even less of a role. And I don't know that he is, especially when it involves less money.
Yeah, that's really interesting because when he initially signed with free agency with Dallas all those years ago, it was to be their number one option. I mean, he was getting paid a lot of money.
And he averaged like 19 a game, right?
I think it was about 19 a game for his tenure there, which was, I think, like 2 years, maybe a year and a half. He was okay, but the problem was he wasn't a number one. Dallas was going nowhere quickly with him as the number one option. So he comes here to Sacramento involuntarily and comes and is probably their second or third on a given night best option. And it seems like, to your point, he's just, as the years have gone down, progressively gotten further and further and further down the pecking order to now where next season, I mean, is he like, if he were to come back to Sacramento, like you mentioned, on that decreased role, is he like the 6th, 7th option? I mean, you would imagine it's obviously Fox and Sabonis up top. Maybe Keegan Murray moves higher up the pecking order. Kevin Huerter is absolutely going to be higher up the pecking order. Maybe Malik Monk is ahead. So there's already 5 guys that are ahead of Harrison in terms of importance of getting them shots. I don't know if that's the situation he wants to walk into. Maybe he still feels like he can have a bigger role on a different team.
To me, this is the single biggest issue with Harrison Barnes, and there's no control over it. I think Harrison Barnes is still, always has been, always will be, to a degree, a little bit of a tweener. Remember
Sure,
when the Kings traded for him? Oh, they need a 3. They're going to get, now they got Harrison Barnes. And coach at the time, Dave Yeager, he wouldn't play him at the 3.
Yeah, played him at the 4.
So
Small ball 4.
Yeah, because is he a 3? Kind of. Is he a 4? Kind of. And there's nothing he can do about that.
Right. Yeah, and he's kind of neither.
Exactly.
It's not like he's okay or good at both. It's more just like, like squint again. Like I mentioned, his mobility's not there to really guard the 3, and his size also isn't really there. Like
he was a 3 this year with I mean, theoretically, right? With Murray the 4, but still kind of interchangeable.
Right, exactly. He doesn't really stick out as like a great
rebounder. Murray
rebounder
as the 3, and I guess he just wasn't.
Yeah, it was murky, and as Vivek would say, positionless basketball.
Right,
so it's all positions are a construct. So he is a bit of a tweener and kind of in a bit of a no man's land. But I just think he's got to kind of lean into something, whatever that may be. I think he's just really good at everything, but I think it would benefit him a lot more if he really embraced being a role player and really honed in on 2 or 3 things to really be great at.
It sure doesn't seem like he's going to be sticking around.
I don't think so. The more and more that these rumors happen, both with Harrison, but also with the Kings having interest in OG Anunoby, and we hear interest in Kyle Kuzma. I just think that there's a lot. It seems like both sides are exploring their other options, and maybe they come back together at the end, but it definitely seems like right now both sides are looking at what's available for them.
Real quick, this has nothing to do with Harrison Barnes.
No.
This may be the worst tweet ever.
Yes.
This is a story that I cannot understand.
This is my favorite story of the day by far.
This is Jack Jones, who's been with the Patriots. This is what he tweeted a while ago after Ja Morant got into so much trouble. So, at Ja Morant, dumb, you letting social media and your pride ruin your real money. This was, again, Jack Jones on Twitter. Put them guns down and run that money up. Make one of your homies sign up for security or concealed carry if you feel like you need it that bad. But you, the breadwinner, you got to start acting like it and tweet, which, okay, that makes sense, right? That hardly seems like a dumb tweet, except that, as you may have heard, I think it was Friday, New England Patriots cornerback Jack Jones was arrested at Logan International for trying to smuggle 2 firearms onto a flight.
Not just 1, but 2.
Loaded.
Yeah. Loaded.
Like
ready to go.
Right through airport security.
Yes. He got caught by TSA, who just, he put his, traditional, just put your bag through walking through security. And he had 2 loaded firearms in his bag and was not he was just like, I think just put a sweatshirt over it and there's no way they find it, right?
Hey, sir. Yeah. I mean, I don't understand.
Take your own advice, my guy.
But it wasn't on social media.
That's true. In his tweet, he does say, keep those guns off social media. Jack didn't put that on social media.
Keep those guns off social media and out of X-ray
and out of
machines
X-rays, right? At TSA, they will get you.
Yeah,
he just needs to take his own advice. This is a direct quote from Jack Jones in that tweet. Make one of your homies sign up for security or concealed carry if you need it that bad. Have one of your homies, Jack Jones, put the guns in their bag.
This also might be one of those things where we've all done it before, where you go to like send a message to yourself, or you're like going on a different app, but you accidentally tweet it out. Maybe he's trying to get on the Notes app and give him like, hey man, just a reminder.
25-year-old. And this guy's had issues before. You know him as Panda Jack, right?
I do know him. I didn't know who Jack Jones was. I know him as Panda Jack.
2018, he was arrested in Santa Paula, California for a commercial burglary after being arrested at a Panda Express. But he now faces, this is so avoidable, right?
Very much.
He is 25 years old, facing several charges, including possession of concealed weapons in a secure area of an airport, possession of ammunition without a firearm identification card, unlawful possession of a firearm, carrying a loaded firearm, possession of a large capacity feeding device.
Sounds bad.
Because he tried to get onto a plane with them.
With 2 of them. I'm afraid if I have deodorant or something and I'm like, God, I really hope it would be really embarrassing if they pull me over to the side. And I have anxiety going through TSA with that. I can't imagine the anxiety of going through TSA with 2 loaded firearms, just being like, I really hope they don't see it. I really hope they don't see it.
Do you agree with this, Chris? This is from, I think, like a Patriots website or maybe the Boston Globe.
I think it's NBAanalysis.net.
Based on these several blemishes on his resume, many have conjectured that Jones has worn out his welcome in Foxborough.
I would say so. That's not quite the page. Well,
this could almost be one of Verlotte's story times.
It's
and
close.
I'm not stealing your
I
thunder,
know, not to
it's
steal
like,
the thunder.
What? It's like, I had to read it like 5 times. That can't be true.
Yeah, this is it's not quite the Patriot way. It's
No.
a former Patriots way, if you catch my drift. Shout out
Yeah.
Mr. Hernandez, but not quite the type of character.
All the best
I think.
to him, because he had, looked like he had turned his
I
life
don't know,
around,
man.
and then
I think
what?
this might be a wrap for him. I was looking at, I don't know how these legal processes end up panning out, but he's facing up to Jones could face a prison sentence if convicted on all counts, up to 30 years. They're saying there's a chance it could be 10 years just for bringing on the firearms, but not looking great for one Panda Jack.
You can't even say gun at the airport.
Don't worry about stealing my thunder, because I have some really stupid criminals today on story.
All right, good. I look forward to that. Thank you. Good to have Chris.
Really stupid.
Which wasn't there? Sorry, just to wrap up. But wasn't there? Was it Herm Edwards or Chris Carter who kind of caught flack for saying have a fall guy, right, at the rookie symposium for the rookies, for the
that
NFL
was your
rookies?
guy.
My guy.
That wouldn't have been Coach Herm Edwards. He would have never said that.
Panda Jack might need a fall guy.
Yep. Up next, the great Wembanyama arrives, but how is he going to have time to play in the California Classic? Still trying to figure that out. Chris and company have that next. Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Every week getting to talk to Kenneth Cornelius Thomas.
Oh my God, he busts out the whole name.
Hey, Abby, come on.
Special show. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to coming back next year. Hopefully we can keep this going. I enjoyed being on here. Damn, nothing, dude. Don't make me reach through this phone, man.
You're in New Mexico. I can talk garbage.
Hey, I know where you live. I'll find out.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
You've heard all of his greatest hits. And now's your chance to see Grammy-nominated multi-platinum singer-songwriter Gavin DeGraw live at Gold Country Casino Resort in Oroville. Get your tickets now to see Gavin DeGraw Friday, June 23rd at 8 p.m. Only at Gold Country Casino Resort. Must be 21 or older.
Summer's here, and the deals are heating up at Fastener's Tool Outlet. You'll find scorching deals this Saturday on Makita Tools. Get 2 free batteries with the purchase of a circular saw kit, and get $50 off any 40-volt tool kit. Fastener's Tool Outlet is turning up the heat on Makita summer savings this Saturday. Buy a 2-piece combo kit and get 2 extra free batteries. Come in to Fastener's Tool Outlet this week, 6701 Power Inn Road, or on the web at fastenersinc.net.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
You could throw your flip-flop at a bug.
Ew, about get it.
But the chances of actually hitting it
Over there.
are statistically
It's still alive.
unlikely. Good thing nature's got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants, like lemongrass and geraniol, and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. Stem, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find: happy people ready to serve you.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
The City of Sacramento offers rebates to help with your outdoor water-saving projects this season. Rebates are available for landscape conversions, smart controllers, and irrigation upgrades that improve your water efficiency. Learn more at sacwaterwise.com.
Sitting at your desk, watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
A lot of people with us today, Chris Watkins. Thank you for being with us. Great to have Chris Verlaud back.
Yes, that's why the people are back.
That's
Chris
the only
brings
explanation.
Chris brings a crowd, absolutely.
Yep. There's that. There's the fact that everyone these days, everyone these days is talking about the Sacramento Kings. But don't take my word for it. Who's talking about the Sacramento Kings? How about Joey Votto, who is Canadian and plays for the Cincinnati Reds? Why would he be talking about the Kings? Well, Joey Votto and the Reds have won 9 straight. So Joey Votto was on SportsCenter last night with Scott
Van
Pelt. Here's what Joey Votto had to say about comparing the Reds to a current NBA team.
But when you win 9 in a row, I mean, how does it grow?
Just keep chipping away at it. And these guys, the best thing about it, you see this with I watched that Kings Warriors series this year, and the youth on the other side, the Kings side, they're just so tenacious, and that's kind of what we have here. These guys don't care, they're not impressed, and they're coming for you every single day because they're so young and so full of energy. I'm just grateful to be a part of it.
That's really interesting because I'm thinking we're going with the Warriors here, but no, you're going with the young guys that just got there, got their first taste of it.
How about that?
How about that?
I watched the Warriors-Kings series, and we're like those Kings.
We're like those Kings. Yeah, like everybody wants to be, right? Those young upstart Kings. How about that? Can't believe that the Kings are being used as like a positive example for a team to find success. Those are what a 2023 thing. Can't believe
You're
it.
almost as surprised by that as you are about the
nuts.
Jack Jones story.
Yeah, just about. I mean, Jack Jones is still taking the cake because I can't believe
pleading not guilty, right?
And he pleaded not guilty, which is just absolutely nuts. I mean, yeah, unless somebody packed his bag, I don't see how. I mean, even then, aren't you still guilty? It's your bag. Like, aren't you responsible for knowing what's in your bag?
Lesser charges, though, maybe. I guess at this point,
that's
you would tell me that's the only thing he can do.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because he pleaded not guilty, so that's really the only hope is by saying something like it's not my fault. I have somebody who packs my bags for me, or something like that, or else, homeboy's in big trouble.
I have a friend who used to be a defense attorney. And he was telling me that he'd have these criminals, and he says, a lot of these guys that I'd end up representing, they're not that bright. And that's how you end up in these situations. And he says, invariably, they'd come to him and say, hey, can you get me off?
Yeah, it's
and
not.
He'd say, who do you think I am, Houdini?
Yeah, right.
No, I can't get you off. They have video of you there. The dye pack exploded on your hands. Right. No, I can't get you off, but we'll get you the best deal we can.
Lesser sentence.
Yeah, that's
maybe.
where I think Panda Jack is right.
Yeah, he's definitely hit that spot where it's like, I definitely did it. Like this is almost literally the definition of being caught red-handed.
How does that? Yeah.
There's not really. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm sure something tells me his bag probably had his name on it too. It's like, that's not mine. It says like Jack Jones or some Panda Jack maybe even on it.
So hopefully if someone else packed it, it's not a felony. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't tell you the inner workings of
I don't know why, but I'm rooting for him.
I guess you know what? No, I'm not rooting for him because that's a really you have to be supremely just dumb to bring not one but 2 loaded firearms as your carry-on.
That's where we separate on this. I'm assuming that he couldn't have been that dumb. And maybe I'm wrong.
That's fair. You have too much faith in society.
Yes.
Way too much.
That's the thing. That's the only explanation. How could that happen? He didn't pack it. He didn't know that he was packing because he didn't pack. All right. Maybe
that is the most logical excuse is that he didn't know because, again, like.
I'll tell you what. You rob one Panda Express
and all of a sudden
out to get
you get labeled. I won't have it. This country's disgusting. Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty? Come on.
So in high school, I was going on we were doing a basketball tournament in Las Vegas.
Where'd you go to high school?
Sacramento Lutheran High School.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't exist anymore. But anyways,
You're like Isaiah Thomas.
We're going on this trip, and this is December of 2001. So this is right after September 11th.
Right, like right after.
You've got like the National Guard in the airport. Everything is like taking everything is going crazy. So one of my friend's dad is getting his bag checked over and over again. And he's getting frustrated. And he's just like, guys, why do you keep doing this? Just let me go. And right when he said that, one of the TSA says, what is this? And pulls out this huge knife that he had in his bag that he completely forgot was in there. And it was one of those oh, my mistake.
You're like,
why don't you guys hang on to that one?
Yeah. And that's all you could say to that. But even like, it's just like, oh, you guys just forget that. You can take it. Just take it. Just throw it away. Just throw it away. I didn't need to.
That's all. It's a very similar situation here with Panda
hopefully,
Jack.
I mean, hopefully
Very
it's a similar
situation.
hopefully it's a similar situation. But how do you make that same? How do you make the mistake twice? How are you like? Maybe he packed the second gun because he couldn't. He was like, "Where did I put that first gun? Maybe I forgot. I was supposed to bring it." And then he was like, "Oh, it's fine. I'll just bring the second one."
I don't know.
I don't either.
Luckily,
Not great.
Victor Wembanyama has arrived in the U.S. He didn't have any such problems flying over from France that we know of. Yeah.
I would what does it take to fly a 7'3", like 8-foot wingspan guy on a plane? I hope it's private, right? Like there's no way, even first class doesn't have enough leg room for him. That's tough.
Yeah. Some fans knew which flight he was on. And when the plane was landing, fans were waiting for him.
I'm out on this flight tracker thing. Like I say we as Kings fans track the Kings flight back home after they clinched the Pacific Division in Portland. It's really creepy to me how you can literally just track people's flights anywhere in the country. If you know the information, you can track it.
He said, I don't know how they knew what flight I was on. He says it's fun, but here's the thing. He's already announced as one of the expected participants in the NBA Con in Vegas, which starts right around the time Summer League starts there, July 7th through the 9th. Said he wants to play for France in the Basketball World Cup that'll take place in the Philippines, Indonesia, and Japan starting in late August, running through September 10th. So
imagine Greg Popovich is happy.
I'm just, and he's also got to play in the California Classic, right? I'm not sure.
Does he
how's
have
he going to fit that into his schedule?
Pretty sure he has to.
Yes, please.
It's required, right? I mean, if he wants to truly be great, again, LeBron started his career here. Wemby, you gotta follow in the footsteps of greatness if you want to be great. Gotta suit up in Sacramento if you want to truly be one of the greats. Wemby.
Yeah, I'm with you. If I'm the Spurs, like World Cup.
Yeah, I'm like, no, you're still like you just finished play. I know that's next season, but it's like, dude, how about take a rest, please? You're way too big to be playing that much. I wouldn't want it. I mean, especially you have way too much invested into him, and this I don't know. I mean, like for sure, maybe if he's not 7'3", I would be a lot more okay with it.
Do you think there's any legitimate chance that he just comes over and he's not that good? Is that even, I'm not asking you for a prediction, but is that even remotely possible that he comes over and he's just kind of,
I'm going to say no, just because I think even just
I think you're right. Unless he gets hurt, I think you're right.
Like maybe his offense isn't as spectacular as we think it is, but I think even defense, like next year, he's going to be at the very least Rudy Gobert. Like that is a baseline for him that he can be a big, tall, long, good timing shot blocker in the NBA.
May not be strong enough to do that right away.
Maybe not, but I think he still at least has the size to divert shots at the rim.
If there's ever been a sure thing, he's about as close as you can get to it, I think. Yeah. Up next, a potential Kings free agent target just opted out. Kings fans are getting excited. Tell you all about it next. Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
Need your Niners fix? Sactown Sports has you covered.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think Trey looks significantly better than he did last year. I really do. I think his confidence is there. I think that He's throwing really good passes. I mean, just watching him, he just looks so much more comfortable and confident in the pocket, and I really appreciate that from him, from all the work that he's put into it. He just looks like he's having fun, because when he's out there having a good time, it definitely brings up everyone around him.
Get all your 49ers coverage leading into the 2023 season at Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Get to Acura of Stockton, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. And right now, lease a new Acura TLX, MDX, or Integra with low lease rates available. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton. See all our inventory and specials at AcuraofStockton.com.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khtk.com.
I'm Ken Korak with your Gwyn and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network. But one of the byproducts of the A's good play recently has been that 3 pitchers earned their first major league wins within a span of less than 2 weeks. Lucas Erceg against Atlanta, May 29th. Hogan Harris against the Pirates on June 7th. Luis Medina, June 9th against Milwaukee. And Ken Waldichuk earned his first save by blanking Tampa Bay for 3 innings, beginning the most recent homestand. Ken Korak here, introducing you to the Xfinity 10G network. Xfinity is undergoing a multi-year network evolution, giving you a powerful connection today while building toward a faster, more reliable tomorrow. The Xfinity 10G network gives you the fastest internet with even faster speeds rolling out all the time. You also get a consistent and reliable connection when everyone's online, even during peak hours. That's a home run. If you want to learn more, go online at xfinity.com/10G.
Did you know that money market accounts offer higher dividends than a traditional savings account, all while still being able to access your money at any time? Hey, Jason Ross here, and I want to tell you to step up your earning power with a Level Up money market savings account at Safe Credit Union. With competitive dividend rates, you can take your savings to the next level. Visit safecu.org/levelup for more information and to open up an account today. Insured by NCUA.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Erlot with your Sactown Sports headlines. Over the weekend, it was announced that the Washington Wizards and Phoenix Suns agreed to a blockbuster trade, with the Wizards sending 3-time All-Star Bradley Beal, along with Jordan Goodwin and Isaiah Todd, for the Suns' Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, several second-round picks, and pick swaps. The deal has not been finalized, while the Wizards look for another team to send Chris Paul to. MLB announced today that the San Francisco Giants and St. Louis Cardinals will be playing at Rickwood Field, the oldest professional ballpark in the United States and former home of the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro Leagues. On June 20th next year, the game will be a tribute to the Negro Leagues and Hall of Famer and former San Francisco Giant, Willie Mays. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
There's a potential Kings free agent target who has opted out of his deal, so he is becoming a free agent. And Kings fans are excited, Chris Watkins. He's Watkins, I'm Whitey. Very excited about the possibility of the Kings coming to terms with, and we have no reason to believe they've even talked yet, but we're talking about Kyle Kuzma. Woo! exciting.
Yeah,
you?
that's
You get
exciting.
any-
That's exciting. Absolutely. I think, Kyle, the prospect of Kyle Kuzma is really, really enticing. I think, he's a guy who's got great length and great size, can shoot the ball really, really well, especially for somebody at that size.
21 points a game last year for a pesky Wizards team.
Yeah, for that winning organization in Washington.
He played 70 games in a season as recently as
not bad
2019.
Okay, not great.
Yeah.
Well, and he was a good piece on a championship team. Like, he was a role player on that bubble Lakers team, and was a young guy still at that point, and was able to adjust and find a role. He's a lot better than the guy that he was at that point. So I don't know if he's necessarily going to take a back seat to his new team come playoff time.
Shot 33% from beyond the arc last year.
Not great.
Woo!
That's not ideal.
Why are people so excited about this?
I think it's more just, and the only reason I'm excited about it, if it were to happen, is just the potential of him getting better. I mean, he's still 27 years old, so he's kind of entering what should be his prime here. And I think the hope is that you're going to get the best basketball that Kyle Kuzma is going to play for the next 3 years or so. And that's really, for me, that's the most exciting thing about taking Kyle Kuzma is it's not even the guy he is now. It's the guy that he might be at the end of the deal. But if he kind of stays stagnant and is still the guy that he is right now, I mean, yeah, that's real potential for overpaying for a guy that's just not excellent.
Would you like to hear a couple of thoughts from the smartest listeners in radio on the YouTube chat?
Absolutely. I'm sure they're thrilled.
12 Mulatu says Kuzma can create his own offense, something a few of our guys do not have.
Sure.
But he is going to settle for a max deal. We will not give him that.
Yeah.
Patrick Donaldson,
Great
I
point.
wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked, he says, pardon me, if Kuzma gets signed by the Kings. Brian says a wing rotation of Kuzma, Chris Murray, Keegan, and Edwards. I am salivating in caps.
What about Sasha?
Salivating.
Don't forget about Sasha now.
Fans underscore only says Kuzma isn't an upgrade from HB. He has a nice game, but from a team and leadership standpoint, I haven't heard much on that front.
Yeah, I think I agree with that one the most from fans only. I think if he is an upgrade, it's not a massive one. You'll notice it. I think he's a better scorer, or that's more a part of his game is offense as opposed to defense, and Harrison is a little bit more solid across the line. But
he's 6'9".
He's 6'9", and he's got some good length, and I think he can provide things that Harrison's not able to provide just based off of that length. I think there's potential there for some potential weak side defense and getting blocks in that fashion. I think it's enticing, but the problem for me with Kyle Kuzma is going to be the price tag. I just don't want to see the Kings or really any team try and lock him down for $22 to $25 million. I just think he's not quite that guy. He's not quite that good, and that's kind of paying for the upside of what Kyle Kuzma could be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you end up paying somebody for what they could be, I just think that more times than not, you're going to be overpaying for somebody.
I've been back and forth on this. I know we talked about it last week, and I was excited. Then the more I looked at it, I cooled on him because of his lack of efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big guy when it comes to I'm really a big believer in efficiency and offensively. Yeah. He took a lot of shots last year, didn't shoot the ball especially well, but he can be a good defender. If you get the player, as you said, the player who helped the Lakers win a championship, a guy who's willing to take a lesser role in this team, he might be worth the risk. Depending on what else is available to me, I have to do something in that position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of the conundrum the Kings are in is they can't not do any. They can't just bring Sasha Vezenkov or Trey Lyles into the starting lineup next year and realistically expect to be better.
I know fans get mad when you say that. Some fans, how could you say terrible things about our Sasha? But I don't think it's realistic to think he steps in next year and all right, we've improved in the front court.
Yeah, like
as a starter, I'm saying as a starter.
No, he's a really good piece, but we just haven't seen him play in the NBA. It's going to take some time. Maybe he grows into that as the season goes along.
I agree.
But we can't go into day one. We can't go into training camp with Sasha Vezenkov being the presumptive starter.
But he's MVP of the EuroLeague. What's wrong with you?
It's not how it works.
Why don't you like Sasha?
That is not how it works. And yeah, I mean, just because we say someone's not a starter either doesn't necessarily mean that we hate them. Or
Right.
just because we want, like Whitey wants to trade Sasha doesn't mean that he doesn't think he's good.
I would trade him if I get something that helped me more. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I don't think that's going to happen now. So I'm backing off. I would do it, but I don't think it's in play.
I still agree with you that shouldn't be off the table. But no, to go back to Kuzma,
back to Kuzma.
I think he's an all right piece, but at the end of the day, even if he is the piece that the Kings bring in, I just don't think he's really like gonna be. I don't want to say he's not going to be the difference, because I do think he's going to be a good impact guy. I don't think, again, when you're going to pay Kuzma 22 to $25 million, again, I'm going to keep using this term, but it's going to hamstring what you can do in the future. That's just a lot of money locked up between him, Fox, possibly Sabonis in the future. And what does a Kyle Kuzma, Sabonis, and Fox tandem get you? Like, I don't know. That doesn't scream conference finalist to me.
I think you touched on the key to all this. The thing with Kuzma, I believe, is if you sign Kuzma, you're hoping you get that version of him that he was a few years ago.
Right.
Because the version that he's been the last couple of years haven't been great. He has the ability. But for example here, just go to Basketball Reference, similarity scores. Bear with me here. I know it's a lot of numbers, but I'm going to make a point here as cogently as I can. That's where you compare him to players who through 5 years have contributed as many win shares to their team as he has, okay? Doesn't mean he's the same type of player, but just in terms of this one measure anyway of contributions.
Oh, boy.
Kyle Kuzma. Rodney Rogers is on the list. So Kyle Kuzma has helped his team as much as Rodney Rogers in 5 years. Dante Cunningham. Lou Hitch.
I don't know who that is.
Lorenzen Wright. Terry Catledge. Derek Williams, Kings fans know him. Jonas Jerebko.
Oh, boy.
Reggie Evans, Davis Bertans. Yeah, so that's not great.
That's not great.
But that's the whole body of his work. If you cherry pick a year here, a year there, some things he's done here or there, you've got the makings of potentially a guy who can really help you, but there is some risk involved. Because he hasn't consistently been that guy.
Let me add, because this is, again, the price is the big problem for me with Kuzma. What do you think Kyle Kuzma gets out on the open market? He just turned down a $13 million player option. I would like to think Kyle Kuzma is going to get more than that. But how much money is too much? I think 20 is like where I'm okay with. Like if Kuzma gets a 3-year, $60 million contract, it's a lot, but I can live with it. I think I can live with it. To me, again, like that 22 to 25 is where I land. And I'm like, that's just kind of a bit much. And that's, again, that to me, that's projecting for what he could be instead of what he really is at this point in his career.
That's about as high as I would go. And if someone else wants to take more of a chance on him, I don't know that I need him. That's the thing. That's why I don't have to overpay. Right? I have other options there.
Yeah.
I think there are some other guys who I think will be available. And it's not like he's an ideal fit.
Yeah. That's a great point that you bring up there that can't be forgotten either, is when you look at the number of, let's just throw 20 million out there. If you were going to pay Kuzma 20 million, do you think that you could find 2 other forwards that equal 20 million that you can get either equal value or more value for? I think so. I think that there's a really good chance that if you pay, I just always throw these 2 forwards out there, but if you pay Josh Okogie and Torrey Craig a combined $20 million for a year, I think you get more value for that season for having both of those 2 guys than whatever Kyle Kuzma could bring you. Like Kyle Kuzma is a really good player, but Kyle Kuzma is not an all-star. Like I don't think Kyle
there are
Kuzma,
gaps in his resume and in his game. There just
absolutely,
are.
yeah.
If they brought him here, I'd be excited, but if they don't, I would understand.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not on board.
I'm not either. I think ultimately I'm off of it for the price and just for the overall return. He can be good somewhere else. That's where I fall on Kyle Kuzma.
There's an article here from Fan Nation. Kyle Kuzma linked to the Jazz but I'm not sure. I have to do some research on that. Now,
he went to University of Utah.
Yes, exactly.
That's probably about as far as
cap
that goes.
space. If Danny Ainge is interested in him, then my opinion of him goes up.
Yeah, right.
But I'm not sure if it's just Danny Ainge is really interested, or if people go, "Hey, that would be a nice fit for him."
That would be.
So I have to do some more research on that.
Utah would really be building something super interesting at that point, because then you have a front line of Kyle Kuzma, who's 6'9".
Yep.
You have Lauri Markkanen, who's legit 7 foot, and then you have Walker Kessler, who is a legitimate 7 foot as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a massive front line if that happens. Look out for Utah, man. Like they're, I know they have tons and tons of picks, and they just shipped off Gobert and Mitchell last year, but they're trying to win.
I'm still evaluating how I feel about Kyle Kuzma. Not on board. 1 foot, maybe. Thinking about it.
If it happens, I'll talk myself into it, but I'm not. It's not my number one option.
Meanwhile, we may now know exactly what the Kings plan to do with Sasha Vezenkov. We have that for you. Coming right back with that on Chris and Company, Whiting Watkins, Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Every week getting to talk to Kenneth Cornelius Thomas.
Oh my God, he busts out the whole name.
Hey, come on.
Special show.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to coming back next year. Hopefully we can keep this going.
Yeah.
I enjoyed being on here with the nothing, dude. Don't make me reach through this phone, man.
You're in New Mexico. I can talk garbage.
Hey, I know where you live. I'll find out.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One and a member FDIC.
Selling your home can be stressful. Scott Marsh here to tell you about Bridgehaven Homes. They are a local home buying company that offers homeowners an easier way to sell their home. Bridgehaven Homes gives you an all-cash offer for your home, no matter what the condition, within 24 hours. You pick the date you wish to close and sell on your terms. No repairs, no showings, and no realtor commissions. Call 916-299-6040. That's 916-299-6040 or bridgehavenhomes.com.
Sitting at your desk? Watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
What a week it's going to be around here. NBA Draft Week. By the way, NBA Draft coverage brought to you by Power Business Technology on Sactown Sports. Power Business Technology for all your business office equipment needs. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. So, yeah, we got the draft coming up. Of course, NBA free agency following quickly after. We just got news this afternoon. Kyle Kuzma, potential Kings free agent target, has opted out of his deal, so he is, as expected, a free agent. The Kings have a lot to figure out in terms of their front court. How does Sasha Vezenkov fit into all that right now, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a question on, nothing confirmed on whether Sasha will or won't come over. There's talks that there was rumors, I think a week or two ago, that Sasha was kind of having some second doubts about.
But I saw something that said he kind of said goodbye to everybody on a video.
Yeah,
almost.
A little bit. Sasha just posted on his Instagram actually yesterday. It was more of like a end of season. You know how at the end of the year everyone's always like, "Oh, what a great year" and all this stuff. Well, Sasha posted a nice little slides of pictures of him lifting trophies and obviously won MVP this year, and captions it reflecting on an unforgettable season. I'm grateful for my teammates, coaches, Olympiacos, all that. Also for the amazing support of fans. Together we fought, achieved great this year, shed tears. We became stronger, more determined. Success is not the destination. It's the journey of a team that never gives up. Ends it with thank you all.
He's gone.
And I thought the same thing. I was like, all right, this is people reading way, way, way too much into this. Like the dude, like I said, just everybody does this. Kevin Herter at the end of the year is posted like 8 pictures and was like, year 8. No one is like, oh, Kevin Huerter seems like he's reliving the past and, sending a thank you, goodbye.
You know what, though, in all honesty, he's also still playing that game. He doesn't want to say goodbye. He's still playing that game with the Kings, right? Like,
absolutely.
How much are you going to pay me?
Exactly.
Maybe
exactly.
Not going to say, I'm gone. And then, what are you going to pay me?
Yeah. And I will say that as I said, I was dubious. I was like, I don't know if that's really a goodbye post. I don't know what people are making such a hubbub about. So I go to Sasha's Instagram and I look at his post from last year because, like I said, this is just a thing people do at the end of seasons. They post, thank you, awesome season, great. Sasha last year, June 19th, 2022, posted, it's been an amazing season. I'm proud of what we were able to achieve this year altogether. Good moments were made. Thanks to the family, friends, our friends, and Olympiacos and the Olympiacos family. See you next season.
Oh.
So last year was very clear amongst questions of whether he was going to come to the Kings. In the Instagram post, almost a year to the date, said, see you next season.
Good work, detective.
At the end of this one says, thank you all. Look, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Clear as day there. No assurances.
What do you think,
for next year.
Verlad? He's gone, right? He's coming here.
Seems like
he's as
gone.
good as living in Roseville now.
Next season, start already? Dang, I don't want to wait.
Come on. It's happening. It's confirmed at this point. I'm sold. I think Sasha's coming over.
I think I just saw him at the Galleria.
We just need to figure out what plane he's on.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
that
that's
shouldn't
true.
be hard to do.
Yeah, it shouldn't. I can't imagine there's many straight from Greece to Sacramento. I think I mean, we've been hearing from everyone here, at least in Sacramento, that it's felt like Sasha is all but gone. And, over there and overseas, it seems like they're reporting that Sasha loves Olympiacos and would hate to leave his teammates. I think he's gone. I think that this is truly his last opportunity to have like a solidified, bona fide spot on a roster. The Kings have clearly shown their interest in bringing him over.
You know what? Thank goodness that the Kings are competitive now.
Right.
Can you imagine how much harder it is to convince someone
Almost
like that
impossible.
to come over if the Kings are, we won 27 games last year, but we should have won 29.
Right. No, and the only selling point at that point for him would be like, you can start, like we're trash. We can give you a starting spot, and maybe that would convince him. But it's the perfect situation for him now. Like you mentioned, they're a winning team now. He's going to have like a pretty prominent role. You'd imagine he can walk into 18 to 20 minutes a game if he shows to be the guy that he seems to be.
As long as
in
he's
Europe.
okay with that.
Exactly. And that's the big thing is he okay with reducing his role? I mean, we just talked about it with Harrison Barnes, but is Sasha willing to take a reduced role, but also fly to a completely new land and where he doesn't know anybody, doesn't have any real relationships with any of the guys? Like, that's, the human part of that is a very, very scary proposition.
See, to me, he would be, and again, he would have to be on board with this because I don't think you can't trade his rights to somebody if he doesn't know, because then those rights have no value.
Exactly.
If you trade it to a team and the team says, you come over, and he says, I didn't ever want to play for you.
Right.
But if he was on board with it, I could see him being a good fit as part of an Anunoby deal.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Potentially.
Right. Yeah, actually, absolutely. Toronto's got to have some sort of insight. I think that's really the problem with his value is, they just don't know what they're getting. And they're like, that's great that Sacramento, we believe you that you have seen him with your own eyes and you think he's going to be good, but Masai Ujiri hasn't done that same work. He hasn't sent guys over there. And so it's just, I feel like,
that we know of,
right. Who knows?
Yeah.
I just think that it's going to be a tough sell to have his value be much of anything until he suits up here and people can watch him with their own eyes.
I was in for Cattles a couple weeks ago and we had Bobby Marks on, and I asked him about this, and he said Vezenkov has great value. He's an asset. Either you bring him over, or if you did want to spin him off, he has tremendous value.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I would like to know what it is, because he was traded, I think, last year for a second-round pick, or 2 years ago for a second-round pick. And so, obviously that was before he was a Euro League MVP. But, if he truly does have value, I think it would be in Monty's best interest to look out for what his value is, because we've talked about it, and you were right on the nose with it.
Well,
he's
not everyone agrees. So
they don't agree, but they're not correct, Whitey. I'm sorry. You and I are the authorities on
That's
this.
true.
And
This
the
is true.
dude is a luxury piece. Like, he cannot play defense at an NBA level to be proven. Like, until proven otherwise, I'm not going to believe that he's going to be able to defend, to play significant minutes. And so right now, I think he's just kind of a really solid bench piece, but one that the Kings don't necessarily need.
So they see him as a backup right now. As far as again, this isn't the, obviously the Kings aren't coming out and holding a press conference to say, this is what we think of Sasha Vezenkov.
Right.
But according to the reporting.
Yes. This is from Sportle, which is a European website that's like a Eurobasket website.
Sure.
Shout out Christos, who runs that over there. He used to be heavily a part of the Kings media when they allowed Zooms. He would Zoom all the way in from Greece. So Christos absolutely knows what he's talking about, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's very well sourced. And he says, Sportle's information from Sacramento states that the Kings have Vezenkov in their plans for next season. Not only that, but they are ready to give him a very important role in the new season's team. Wow. I think this is translated. So
Sure.
Not perfect wording, but more specifically, they intend to bring him as a backup to Keegan Murray in the 4 position, considering that he has all the elements to offer solutions with his peripheral shot and ability to rebound. So they're reporting that not only is Sasha coming over, but they intend him to bring him over as Keegan Murray's backup at the 4. And that information is very interesting because that tells me that it seems to they seem to believe that not only will Keegan Murray be the 4, but that probably means Harrison Barnes won't be back, and that there seems to be a carved out role for Sasha at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean for Trey Lyles? I would assume that means Trey Lyles probably doesn't come back. And with that also kind of maybe the Kings release everybody in terms of their cap hold, and at that point they can have $22 million to spend in free agency. So if this report is true from Sportle, then Keegan Murray's playing the 4. Sasha Vezenkov is going to be his backup, and it sounds like Harrison Barnes and Trey Lyles might be gone, and it sounds like the Kings are going to be shopping for a legitimate 3 at that point. Again, if all that reporting is true.
Teams don't necessarily employ a traditional 6th man like they used to. Like, here's Bobby Jackson into the game. It's more like a couple guys go into the game at a time. But I could see Vezenkov, based on what we know and the little bit we've seen, I could see him like really having an impact coming in. A shooter like that coming in off the bench, he could really have an impact on the game.
I think so. Yeah, I think
he's an incredible. I know I'm not, people say I'm too hard on him or whatever, but he's an incredible shooter. I think we'll see at the NBA level.
Yeah,
he could be an amazing shooter.
He could be a really good shooter, and he's also the thing that I really like about him, and the thing that stuck out to me is just he just understood spacing so well, and not only on the perimeter, but also when to cut as well. And
he
like
plays off the ball really well,
really
it's
well.
Like, not a problem. That's how he plays. It's not an adjustment. It's what he does.
No, it's what he does. Absolutely. And so I think his adjustment to the NBA game is going to be really quick. It's just going to be a matter of if he can hit the shots. And again, his 3-point shot looks, the appearance of it looks ugly, but it goes in a ton. And if he can be strong enough to finish around the rim, that's where it's like his potential really is. Like, maybe he could be a starting forward in this league, but I'm just not ready to put him there yet. But I think coming in, he can definitely make an impact from day one for sure.
So you add him, you add Kuzma,
maybe.
Maybe.
Look out.
You can have Bradley Beal, sons. We don't need him. We don't want him.
If the Kings can turn forward from a real weak spot to a strength next season, I think that's a massive win, and that's a way to secure their continued spot at the top of the Western Conference.
Speaking of forwards, the Dubs want their Draymond, but so does this guy, Chris Watkins. And you know who else the Warriors want? We'll tell you next. Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports is your source for the 49ers.
Hello, all. It was awful.
Did that leave a bitter taste in your mouth?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Me and Cal had a long meeting the other day. We watched tape. We talked about it. We put it behind us. And just going through the tape and just look how sluggish and like how bad it looked on tape. Like I said, just reflecting on last offseason, it kind of played a big role in that. And I'll never put nothing like that back on tape again.
Tune into Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com for the latest 49ers offseason developments.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Cal Hope.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Tuesday forecast is bright and sunny. Less wind to go around today, and temperatures this afternoon will hike into the upper 70s to low 80s. Expect overnight lows in the low 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. CalHope can help. Access CalHope's free and secure mental health resources today. Call 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org. Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find: happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Carmichael Dave here. Spring here. Long, cold, rainy winter behind us. And I know you're counting the days until summer, but don't wait until it's hot to make sure your air conditioning is working efficiently and safely. Get ahead of the problem with a $49 AC tune-up from my friends at American Energy Heat and Air. Nothing worse than having your AC go out when it's hot outside. Get a tune-up today to make sure you and your family are comfortable and cool in your home for the hot summer months that are right around the corner. Give them a call at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Or schedule your appointment online like I did last year around this time at AmericanEnergyAir.com. Don't wait till that AC goes out. Call my friends today, 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Your health is important, so keep yourself and your family covered with Medi-Cal. Medi-Cal renewals will be happening soon, so if you have Medi-Cal, make sure you don't miss any important renewal information. If you've moved in the last 3 years, check and update your mailing address, email address, and phone number. Learn more at keepmedicalcoverage.org. That's keepmedicalcoverage.org. Paid for by the California Department of Healthcare Services.
Eva's wedding.
Nana's 80th.
My first interview.
Whenever I'm on the road, I wonder, where's everyone going? Every truck, bus, car, or bike, we all share the goal of going somewhere special beyond where we're driving to. So, let's work together to make sure we all get there safely. Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov. Paid for by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lott with your Sactown Sports headlines. Over the weekend, it was announced that Washington Wizards and Phoenix Suns agreed to a blockbuster trade, with the Wizards sending three-time All-Star Bradley Beal, along with Jordan Goodwin and Isaiah Todd, to the Suns for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, several second-round picks, and pick swaps. The deal has not been finalized, while the Wizards look for another team to send Chris Paul to. MLB announced today that San Francisco Giants and St. Louis Cardinals will be playing at Rickwood Field, the oldest professional ballpark in the United States and former home of the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro Leagues. On June 20th next year, the game will be a tribute to the Negro Leagues and Hall of Famer and former San Francisco Giant, Willie Mays. It is 12:30, Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
So glad that the Kings didn't end up with Bradley Beal. I guess we give him credit for kicking the tires or asking the Wizards what was going on. David Aldridge reporting in The Athletic that the Kings were unwilling to give up Keegan Murray. Yeah, let's hope they were unwilling to give up Keegan Murray.
Right.
But ultimately, it didn't matter because Bradley Beal was the one that was going to decide which trade would be accepted, and he didn't care how much the Wizards got back.
No, he didn't care at all. He was just like, as long as they're not trading actual stars for me, then no, I'll sign up for fee. Do you think he even is like, man, my contract's pretty big. Like, I don't know if I want to hunker down that, it'll only be me, KD, and Booker. Like, what about somewhere else? Clearly not. But I wonder if he factors in at all his contract into this, because it is really it's a deterrent for. I think it was a deterrent for a lot
contract.
Of just way too big.
Yeah,
and there's a reason why we don't give out no trade clauses anymore. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Bradley Beal is the only player in the NBA that has a no trade clause in his contract.
On top of the massive dollar amount, and apparently the Wizards were so desperate to keep him. We talked about that. Bad teams sometimes they feel a need to keep their superstars because if they don't, and the superstar says, I'm out of here, then all of a sudden you lose any credibility with your fan base. Fan base says, this is a Mickey Mouse operation.
Yeah.
But the price they paid for that will give you all this money. And, okay, you don't want to stay. How about if we give you the no trade? Okay.
To me, it's a lot better to I would much rather have my guy walk than to sign him for the kind of deal that they signed.
And now they're going to have to rebuild anyway. And how dumb is it to be rebuilding
the
year after the Wembanyama sweepstakes?
It's amazing. It's amazing how bad franchises manage to even suck poorly. Like, the Kings did it for years, obviously, but this is the exact kind of thing where it's just like, yeah, Wizards, like, you should have done this last year when they had a generational prospect up top. From what I understand, next year's draft is supposed to be really weak. So unless you're going to bring in Bronny James or something and get a 2-for-1 with him and his dad, I don't know what the value is in now deciding that, okay, yeah, I think now is the time to take the wheels off this thing.
So no surprise, Kyle Kuzma looked at the burnt wreckage that is the Wizards roster and said, yeah, I'm opting out, which he might have done anyway.
Yeah.
I know a lot of Kings fans excited about that. I know we'll be talking a lot about that.
I'm sure.
In the days to come anyway.
I would be shocked if the Kings aren't linked to Kyle Kuzma in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Like, I would be
and
actually shocked. They should be. Absolutely.
I know you and I aren't totally sold, but they definitely need to be linked to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they need to be talking to him. Then they need to figure out what that dollar figure is. Because, again, if that dollar figure makes some sense, like if it's under $20 million, like, sign me up. I think it's worth the risk at that point.
It all depends on, to me, what Mike Brown thinks of him, especially defensively.
Yeah.
If he thinks he can upgrade us defensively, then all right. Then
we're going to. He's got the tools, man. He's
got
the tools. He's just got to put it together. Do you think that, like, would you rather take someone who has tools but mentally can't get there, or mentally is there but doesn't have necessarily the skills?
I think I'd take, if those are my choices,
because that's kind of the Harrison Barnes versus Kyle Kuzma in a way.
I take the guy who mentally has it figured out. I don't
so.
know. I think Kuzma last year, the situation he was in, it was just a matter of, all right, here I go.
Get through
I'm
the
gonna
year.
let it fly.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think, based on what he's done in the past, I wouldn't say he necessarily isn't smart enough to play. But just he was trying to play for his contract last year. And
that's also a great point.
I think his shot selection wasn't what it could be, but I don't know that that's necessarily something he doesn't understand.
Yeah. I mean, he's shown the ability to adapt when on that Laker team.
He's been part, as you said, of a championship team.
Right. He was on a really bad
asterisk,
big asterisk. And he, to your point also, he's been on a really bad Wizards team. And so if he didn't put up good numbers, we would probably be asking like, well, Kyle Kuzma, you were on a bad team and you weren't able, you could have at least put up good numbers on a bad team. And so we're kind of, damned if you do, damned if you don't, if you're Kuzma. But the efficiency to me is the big thing. Like, when you look at it in Washington, he's taken 14 shots per game. And then last year took just under 18 shots in a game. If he were to come here in Sacramento, I mean, we're talking maybe 10 shots per game. And what does that do for his numbers and who he feels like, does he become just another one of those Tobias Harris, Harrison Barnes kind of guys if he doesn't have that kind of shot volume? Like, what other ways is Kyle Kuzma able to impact the game besides scoring? He's a really good rebounder, especially for his size, but I don't know if he's necessarily like an impact all the way around the court guy.
Another guy who opted out, Draymond Green. The Warriors expected that.
It's
and
actually a fact.
Yeah, I know.
It is.
I know.
He did it.
The smart money says Draymond Green will come to some kind of agreement with the Warriors, so they will keep him. Their new GM, Mike Dunleavy, met with the media yesterday. His first official press conference said, we really want to keep Draymond Green. We know everyone wants to keep him, but he was in France with LeBron.
Mike Dunleavy said a lot of things yesterday. That Jordan Poole, we're going to have Jordan Poole for the next 4 years. That was interesting. Yeah, the Draymond comments just go outright and say, like, yeah, we want to bring back. I mean, for sure, like, there's nothing wrong with stating your interest, but the firm nature in which he said it, I think, might come back to haunt him if it doesn't work. But it's interesting. I mean, Draymond clearly is a really, I think he's got value across the league. It'll be interesting to see what that value is if he hits free agency. But I think Golden State needs to bring him back because I just don't see how, like, Draymond was such an essential piece of all of that working because of what he brought defensively and just his IQ. I don't know if he's still as valuable as what he once was, but I still think he provides. Yeah, he provides something to that Warrior team that I just don't think that they can replace.
He organizes them at both ends of the floor. He doesn't probably get the credit he deserves for the way he organizes them at times,
especially offensively.
Remember what we saw Sabonis do last year with the Kings. A lot of that was based on what Draymond Green has done with the Warriors.
Exactly. He's great in the dribble handoffs, and he's just a really smart guy. And also, and we talked about this during the playoffs, he just knows himself really well. Like, he has a level of self-awareness, both as a person, but also as a basketball player, where you're never, I shouldn't say never, but you're rarely going to find Draymond Green, especially offensively, doing too much. And you rarely are like he's a guy who's just okay with the numbers that he's at. I mean, he's under 10 points per game, gets 6 or 7 assists per game. He just knows who he is, and he's never going to step out of that. And I think that's going to bode well for him as he ages as well, just never trying to recapture things that he just knows that he's not.
I don't think, if I had to guess, I don't think we will have any legitimate stories linking the Kings to him. What do you think? It wouldn't stun me, but my best guess would be we will not hear that.
I don't think so. Not if he hits free agency now. I don't think the Kings will be linked to him in free agency. I think their best shot is like if they were to work out a deal for him. I just think he's gonna be looking for a title contender first, not a championship contender or a playoff contender or a team that's fighting or scrapping or on their way up. I think if Draymond goes anywhere, it'll be to the Lakers, or, say what you will about the Lakers as title contenders, but he'll go to the Lakers for the LeBron connection. I can't see Phoenix, obviously, with how cap strong they are, but I think a situation like Phoenix would entice him. Maybe some other situations out there that we're not thinking. I think the big thing is going to be money as well. How about this? This just randomly popped in my head. What do you think about Draymond to San Antonio, perhaps? I don't like San Antonio throwing their cap space at Draymond, especially if they're going to pay him a lot. But, if you want to turn that really bad situation into potentially a winning situation, having Greg Popovich and Draymond Green is probably a good way to get your message across.
Yeah, it just depends on first of all, on what he wants, but on how quickly they want to turn that around.
Yeah.
I hope he goes somewhere else. I don't think he will. I hope he goes somewhere else, because I think if he goes somewhere else, we're more likely to hear from him why he punched Jordan Poole.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, I'm not saying it's a good reason. I don't know, but I think if he goes somewhere else at some point, he's like, well, here's why that happened.
Yeah, it won't take long
what he said
either.
To me.
There's no way.
Yeah, and if he stays, then we're never going to hear that unless Jordan Poole gets traded, which is certainly a possibility.
Yeah, exactly. I'm all for that. I can't wait.
I just want to know.
That Warrior tell-all book is going to be incredible. Who do you think's going to write it? Probably Draymond.
It'll be on his podcast, maybe.
His podcast. Yeah, that's true.
Or Iguodala would write it.
Ooh, the Iggy book is going to be great. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of good stuff. And I would love to. But Draymond was also just Draymond physically called Kevin Durant in the parking lot. I would love to hear more details about that. I would love to hear about that night in LA against the Clippers where Draymond and KD got into it. There's a lot in that Warrior tell-all book. That'll be fantastic. And then everything that happened this year. Oh man, yeah.
It's great that Draymond is the single line that's like, oh, it'd be interesting to hear about this about the Warriors.
Yeah.
It's Draymond. It's all roads seem to connect back to Draymond in some capacity.
There was one report linking the Warriors to Chris Paul. Somebody said that the Clippers and the Warriors asked about Chris Paul, but I haven't seen anything out of Bay Area media.
That doesn't make
following
sense.
up on that.
Chris
so
Paul to the Warriors.
Yeah, I don't know
scheme-wise
about that.
doesn't work.
The Hawks and the Warriors have been linked in terms of rumors to a draft pick, Derek Lively.
Really?
Yeah.
Mr. Willie Cauley-Stein himself?
I'm Willie Cauley-Stein.
I
And
like
they're
that.
19, so I think they'd have to trade up to get him.
Yeah. That's interesting. Derek Lively is one of, if not the best rim protector in the draft.
Supposedly
He's
he can
7'1".
shoot, but we haven't seen it yet. But that's what this guy can shoot. Nobody knows it yet.
It's
Nobody
the thing
knows
of,
it. Is it true?
It's one of those things where in workouts they look great. JaVale McGee, I mean, you remember in the war when JaVale McGee was on the Warriors, there was videos this summer of JaVale McGee hitting threes. We've seen Willie Cauley-Stein hit threes. These guys
Willie
are
Cauley-Stein's,
great.
he's a unicorn.
Yeah, he is. He is a unicorn. He's definitely one of a kind. That's for sure. He's like Porzingis in many, many ways, as Willie will tell you. It's that's an okay pick. I like it for Golden State. I guess that's kind of making up for the Wiseman pick because Derek Lively in so many ways is just like a very poor man's what Wiseman was supposed to be. Is a good shot blocker, is okay around the rim. He's more of your traditional
as much
big.
as they say, well, we don't need size. You can always use size.
You can use some size,
especially with the Joker.
Exactly. We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
I think that they also realize that, man, if we would have gotten past the Lakers, we wouldn't have stood a chance against Denver. So, yeah, I mean, the Warriors have to address their size. It's been a problem for pretty much the entire run, but now that they don't have the overall star power to overcome that, they need bigs. They need to start operating like an actual basketball team.
Top of the hour, we're looking at who may be the next face of the NBA. But up next, 3 reasons the 49ers will be more aggressive on offense this season. Thanks. Chris is a Vikings fan.
Yeah, sorry.
Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
And the draft is everything. I love it.
With the first pick in the NBA draft.
Sactown Sports has you covered for the 2023 NBA Draft on Thursday, June 22nd. Who will the Kings select with the 24th pick?
The Sacramento Kings select.
Will they trade the pick? Jason Ross and Chris Watkins will bring you a special Sactown Sports NBA Draft show from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. the night of the draft.
Sactown Sports coverage of the 2023 NBA Draft is brought to you by Power Business Technology.
For all your business office equipment needs, contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Greetings from M&S Auto on El Camino, just off the Cap City Freeway. And a big thanks to our repeat customers for letting us be your favorite car dealer. Repeat customers make us proud. M&S customers know that they're going to find the car, 4x4, or SUV they want. They'll get treated like family and save thousands. Whether you're a repeat customer or a first-time buyer, welcome. M&S Auto, the intelligent car buying experience. MSAutogroup.com.
The Gold Rush Classic, where the stars and guitars shine. The Gold Rush Classic is a celebrity pro-am golf tournament, a $1 million hole-in-one contest, a skins game, a celebrity draft party, and a concert featuring the Atlanta Rhythm Section. The Gold Rush Classic raises money for Make-A-Wish, Jordan's Guardian Angels, First Tee of Sacramento, Rancho Murrieta Youth Sports, and other worthwhile children's charities. The Gold Rush Classic takes place July 13th and 14th in Rancho Murrieta. Come join the fun, raise money for charity, and play golf with a celebrity like Barnes, Fernandez, Jackson, Lloyd, Merriweather, Ostertag, Polynice, Sharp, Schumann, and our own Greg Vaughn. Golf and concert sponsorships are still available at goldrushclassic.org. The Gold Rush Classic, where the stars and guitars shine. The Gold Rush Classic is sponsored by Adrian Blanco Jewelry, your family jeweler in Folsom. Voted Style Magazine Reader's Choice Best Local Business 3 years in a row.
Sacramento Kings basketball is back this summer. Catch 6 games of NBA action and fun for the whole family when the California Classic Summer League returns on July 3rd and 5th. The Kings will host the Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Lakers, Miami Heat, and newly added San Antonio Spurs and Charlotte Hornets with the number 1 and number 2 NBA draft picks. 2-day passes start at just $42 and include access to all 6 games. Visit Kings.com/California Classic for more information and to buy your tickets today.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. CalHope can help. Access CalHope's free and secure mental health resources today. Call 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org.
Guys, did you know that June is Men's Health Month? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T level is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your hormones are serious business, and most men start to see changes in their hormone levels starting in their 30s. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Get your T levels checked today by a local, experienced, and trusted healthcare professional. Revive Men's Health has successfully helped thousands of men since 2011. Experience and results matter. So, what are you waiting for? Call Revive today to schedule your free testosterone test and free exam. We know we can help you. We guarantee it. Celebrate Men's Health Month. Get your free T-level test and save $199. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
New flooring instantly updates a room. RC Willey has an incredible selection of carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate. Their experts will help you find the perfect floor for your home and schedule a free in-home measure. Shop RC Willey in Elk Grove or Rockland today.
Sitting at your desk, watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Everybody's so excited about the NBA draft this week. People are more excited around here than I thought they'd be, considering the Kings right now have the 24th pick.
Yeah, I think it's just, it's tradition. I think it's something about Kings fans' spidey senses are just tingling right now. And they're like, I feel like I should be caring about something right now. I feel like normally, traditionally around this time, I would have my life invested into something, but it doesn't. Something about this year feels a little different. I think, that those juices, those NBA draft juices are flowing. And it's really just the start of this new NBA second season almost, where it's the acquisition portion of the summer where, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a brand new team come like 2 or 3 weeks from now. We're going to be kind of knowing how
really matter. This could be a huge
3 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
3 picks. Like they realistically could add 3. I mean, the Kings have 8 guys on their roster right now signed. It's Fox and Monk and Herter and Sabonis, Murray, and then their bench they have Davion and they have Rashawn Holmes and Kessler Edwards' option. And besides that, they don't have anybody else. So we're going to get 3 new guys potentially that could fill out the rotation or the roster. And then really free agency will hit and the Kings will need to sign 1 or 2 guys. And that's about it.
I wouldn't say this on the air because you're my friend, but I did see something yesterday. Where was it? An anonymous scout was breaking down some draft prospects and the Imani Bates outlook was not great. I just wanted you to, I'll find it somewhere.
I'm going to let you know.
It was not overly flattering.
I heard you. I heard when we were talking about Kyle Kuzma earlier, you said that you've softened on Kyle Kuzma. I respect that. I also have very much softened on Imani Bates.
What?
I've done a lot. I did because
that's like someone saying I don't love my mother.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, it kind of is, huh? You go through like 25 years of just being like I love my mom unconditionally, and then you wake up one morning and you're like, maybe. Maybe she wasn't great. Maybe maybe it wasn't cool that you just left me at the mall for hours.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of Imani Bates because I was like, you know what? I haven't really been hyping this guy up a lot. I've been talking up about how it's just a good upside swing and it's almost malpractice if you don't take the swing. I didn't say that, but I watched a lot. I'm sure I read a lot also, and it's just not there. A lot of what I was basing it off of was pretty much off of his high school success, and I was banking it too much like Patrick Baldwin, who, or even Michael Porter Jr., who they're great prospects, but just especially nowadays in college basketball, things are weird, man. Things happen, transfer portals, just the way that recruiting is done. Sometimes it's not even necessarily because of the play. It's just the circumstances that happen that lead to a bad college career. That's not the case with Emoni Bates. You watch, there's a lot of stuff that's on film that is really concerning. I mean, essentially, he's not a great athlete, doesn't have elite speed to get by guys.
Big.
He's 6. This is the thing that really set off the alarm bells, and I feel like you might have said it, and I just he is 6'9" with a 6'7" wingspan. That's not what you want from a guy who's supposed to be this freak compared to Kevin Durant.
Down.
That's completely upside down.
His
That's
wingspan.
Completely reversed. That's incredibly concerning. Defensive effort is just not there. Like, he's not going to be able to stay on the floor defensively. So in turn, he's got to be fantastic offensively in order to justify playing minutes, especially as a second round draft pick. And there's not really much of anything around the rim he's able to do, not a crafty finisher. And, his jump shot looks great, but a lot of the time he takes that jump shot because he can't get to the rim. He doesn't have moves. And so it's a lot of settling for bad shots. And I'm just out. I'm just out. I don't see, good to know. I don't see the elite shot creation that I thought was there. And for that reason, Emoni Bates, you're off my board. I'm sorry. I'm complete 180. Like, he's off the board.
Yeah, I'm stunned.
I don't want it. I'm out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You better late than never, but never late is better.
Right.
I apologize if I got anybody else's hopes up over Emoni Bates. I am sorry.
It's all part of the process.
It is. Exactly.
I think for the most part now,
more days.
I think you and I agree on Emoni Bates. I think we agree on Kuzma for the most part.
I think so. Yeah.
I think we agree on Dariq Whitehead potentially.
I think so. Yep. That's a good swing to take. Absolutely. The problem with Dariq Whitehead is, again, for me, is just like, I don't know the fit. Again, like I would ideally prefer a 3, and I think Whitehead is more of a 2-3, leading more towards the 2 than the 3, but the skill set, and like, if the Kings again just want to kind of take upside, and maybe, again, Malik Monk is going to be a free agent at the end of next season. Maybe if you want to plan for, Malik's exit, you could do a whole lot worse than essentially giving Dariq Whitehead like a year of true recovery, let him figure things out in the G League. If he performs well, maybe give him a promotion then, but you could do worse than taking Dariq Whitehead at 24. Absolutely.
Before we bounce over to the Niners real quick, do you think that Charlotte and Portland are going to pick 2nd and 3rd? What's your best guess?
If I had to guess, yes. I think both of those spots are just way too high to not take unless you're going to get a bona fide star in return. And the only star that's really out there is New Orleans allegedly shopping Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. But unless New Orleans makes a move, I just don't see where the value is in trading out of 2 or 3.
What if you get Zion, you also get the video, the tape of he and
I don't want that.
Okay, you don't want that?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm so good off that. I actually just saw that young lady has been suspended off of Twitter.
Miles, or
yes.
No, Mom, what's her name?
Yes, she has been removed from Twitter for the time being.
Okay.
So
that's unfortunate.
That's how that is going so far.
Real quick, I'll give you 3 reasons, according to Matt Mayoko, why the 49ers will be more aggressive offensively in 2023.
More aggressive.
Give me, as a Viking fan, can you grade these 3 reasons? Okay. Like A is like, yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Or, nah, it's nothing.
Yeah.
1, 49ers will have Christian McCaffrey from the beginning of the season to team up with George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk.
That's an A. That's just a fact. I mean, yeah, what McCaffrey's going to bring with a full offseason it's going to be ridiculous. That playbook is going to be insane.
Reason 2, Kyle Shanahan demonstrated a lot of faith in Brock Purdy after he stepped into the lineup. 49ers believe Purdy is the present and future of the club.
I'll give it a B+. I think those are all facts. I mean, it does seem like Brock Purdy's the future, and absolutely, Kyle Shanahan put way more faith in Brock Purdy than he ever put in Jimmy G. So that's a faith. I think a fact. I think that they really have a lot of faith in Brock Purdy.
3rd, and finally, according to Matt Mayoko, the 49ers will no longer be able to assume anytime they get around the 30-yard line that they have an automatic 3 points. Now that Robbie Gould is no longer in the team, therefore they will be more aggressive.
That's an F, because Jake Moody's a superstar, and he's going to hit 60-yard field goals like they're nothing. So, Matt, you were doing so well, and then you swung and missed on that last one, because Jake Moody's going to be the greatest kicker we've ever seen.
NFC Offensive Rookie of the Year candidate.
Hey, you heard it here first. I'm just letting you know that there's a possibility. There's a possibility. I would be shocked, but there is a possibility. There's
I'm
a
calling my
0.1%.
shot on that one. Up next, who's the future face of the NBA? Is there any chance? It could be a Sacramento King? Next on Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
The King season might be over, but Sactown sports coverage never stops.
I feel like we grew a lot during this playoff series with our defense, and if we can sustain that during a year, that's going to help us a lot.
Stay tuned all off-season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Dawn or dusk, I'm on the hunt. Skeeter here, Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District, and I'm wearing Skeeter Vision, night vision goggles that light up skeeters at dawn or dusk like the 4th of July. Mosquito, 12 o'clock. Got him. So fight the bite by wearing long sleeves and pants at dawn or dusk when they're most active. Apply insect repellent and drain stagnant water. It's a breeding ground.
Dawn or dusk, the Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District reminds you to fight the bite. For more information or to report problems, go to fightthebite.net.
For nearly 20 years since Bartley Kavanaugh Golf Course opened near the banks of the Sacramento River, it's been Sacramento's #1 course for fun. Perry Dye of the famous Dye family of golf course architects designed the course to be an easy walk, but motorized carts are available as well. You and your friends of all abilities will find Bartley Kavanaugh featuring a brand new tap room is a great place to play golf. After your round, relax on the outdoor veranda overlooking the course with a cold beverage or a tasty meal. For tee times, visit bartleycavanaugh.com. It's Sacramento's #1 course for fun.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network. One of the byproducts of the A's good play recently has been that 3 pitchers earned their first major league wins within a span of less than 2 weeks. Lucas Erceg against Atlanta, May 29th. Hogan Harris against the Pirates on June 7th. Luis Medina, June 9th against Milwaukee. And Ken Waldichuk earned his first save by blanking Tampa Bay for 3 innings, beginning the most recent homestand. Ken Korak here, introducing you to the Xfinity 10G network. Xfinity is undergoing a multi-year network evolution, giving you a powerful connection today while building toward a faster, more reliable tomorrow. The Xfinity 10G network gives you the fastest internet with even faster speeds rolling out all the time. You also get a consistent and reliable connection when everyone's online, even during peak hours. That's a home run. If you want to learn more, go online at xfinity.com/10G.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find: happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlad with your Sactown Sports headlines. Over the weekend, it was announced that Washington Wizards and Phoenix Suns agreed to a blockbuster trade, with the Wizards sending 3-time All-Star Bradley Beal along with Jordan Goodwin and Isaiah Todd to the Suns for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and several second-round picks and pick swaps. The deal has not been finalized, while the Wizards look for another team to send Chris Paul to. MLB announced today that the San Francisco Giants and St. Louis Cardinals will be playing at Rickwood Field the oldest professional ballpark in the United States and former home of the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro Leagues, on June 20th next year. The game will be a tribute to the Negro Leagues and Hall of Famer and former San Francisco Giant, Willie Mays. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Chris and Company with Whitey and Watkins.
Have you heard today's breaking news, NBA news? Kyle Kuzma has opted out of his contract. Not a big surprise, but it did happen today. You can't blame him for looking around at the wreckage of a roster around him saying, yeah, I'm opting out, which you may have done anyway. But, of course, the Kings are one of the teams that are believed to have some interest in Kyle Kuzma, so we shall see. This week is going to be fascinating, Chris Watkins.
Yeah, no, it's just the start of it, too. I mean, I suspect that there's going to be a lot of rumors leading into the draft. Let's Simmons.
Start one. Why don't you start one?
Let's make one up. Nah, I'm really bad. I can't. Okay. I'm really bad on the spot.
That's all right.
Bill Simmons did say that he expects, or he's hearing that Zion Williamson will be off of the New Orleans Pelicans by Thursday. So that's absolutely something I'm tracking, but and I would assume that would be for 2 or 3.
That may be what the Pelicans are wishing, but I don't know if they're going to be able to pull that off.
I don't think so, because again, like, I just think if you're New Orleans, or I'm sorry, if you're Charlotte, like, maybe you're willing to hear it, but I think you can get a lot more value out of Scoot Henderson, even just drafting Scoot and then shopping him. Like, I think that's a lot. You'll probably get more than what Zion could get in return. I just don't think that that's equal value.
I know I've been telling you for weeks, they're not going to take Scoot, because of fit, but it looks like, as you well know, they brought both of them back yesterday, the Hornets did. And I guess Miller has not looked great in workouts, and I guess he was sick as well.
Did you hear that? Yeah, he got mono allegedly, and I think has lost. I think they're saying up to like 13 pounds that he's lost, and just hasn't quite looked the same in these warm-ups and these pre-drafts. It's not great. Not boding well for him in terms of especially going against a guy like Scoot, who's built like a freaking Greek god. So yeah, it's definitely looking like it's leaning towards Scoot at 2, and then at that point at 3, I don't know why the Blazers would. I guess, Brandon Miller is still a good fit there, but I think that they should be star hunting, and I just don't think Brandon Miller has the potential to be like a 1A kind of guy.
Everything officially out of Portland is that they really want to keep Dame and build around him.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's no surprise. They're not going to, they wanted to trade him. They're not going to let everyone know they want to trade him.
Right.
But that is apparently officially the plan going forward.
That's the right move.
Keeping Dame and building around him.
Yeah.
And I think that's easier for them if Scoot's already gone.
Sure.
Then they don't have to make that existential decision.
Right. Yeah.
Dame might be the first player in NBA history where he asked for a trade, and the rest of NBA fans are like, please let him go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I want him to go actually have a realistic shot of being a part of a title, like not just
that window is closing
too.
too.
I don't want a Mitch Richmond where he's on the Lakers but like technically wins a title but plays 0 minutes. Like, I want Damian Lillard to be an impact player on a title team if he's going to win a title, and I just can't see Portland turning things around in the next 2 or 3 years to make that happen. I just want to just move him, man. Like, just you lean into the rebuild. You already have Anthony Simons. You have Shaedon Sharpe. Those are 2 good young pieces. Add the number 3 pick to that pool and just play it out. I mean, I just don't think that Portland's anywhere near a title, and that's not even including what you can get in return for Dame as well. So they could really be in a really good position to rebuild quickly if they move on from Dame now. But if they don't and hold on to him and then move him later, they're at risk of losing. I don't know if Dame's value is going to continue to go up at this point.
As for the Kings, given that league sources say the Pacers and the Mavericks have some interest in Harrison Barnes, I would be really surprised if the Kings don't have some, at least semi-serious interest in Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah, I mean, if Barnes is gone at that point, I mean, especially if HB makes his decision first and like he's just completely off the board and the Kings are kind of left there like, okay, now we have to add somebody at that spot knowing he's not going to be there. I think if that's the case, then I think that they get really aggressive in trying to either pursue Kyle Kuzma or maybe OG Anunoby, as we've heard that it seems like the Kings have real interest in him. I think that's really the 2 most likely scenarios that I see playing out is either OG trade or really going all in for Kuzma.
Yeah, we'll look more at the Anunoby situation here coming up bottom of the hour on Sactown Sports. How about this as we talk about the NBA and all the changing parts and moving parts? We saw this in The Athletic today. Maybe you saw it too, because LeBron and Steph, at some point, they're closer to the end, obviously, than the beginning of their careers. And they're the faces of the NBA. So who's going to be the next face? Who's the future face? The future face of the NBA. 339-1140.
That's a great question.
1-800-920-1140. Hit us up on the YouTube chat. Here are some suggestions they have.
Please.
They asked a number of their writers, and I know you saw this, Chris. Giannis's name came up.
Sure.
Luka.
I think that's the prime suspect for me.
See
I know. Is Chris going to jump through the glass?
I'm with you on that. I will not watch. If he's the face of the league, I know it's not an official designation. I will not watch anymore.
I could buy Luka as the double chin of the league.
Oh!
But not the face of the league.
He's
From
slimmed
the
down
top
now.
rope.
He's slimmed down now.
Yeah.
Tatum, Jason Tatum, getting a mention.
I don't see that. Maybe Deuce Tatum. Deuce is cute.
Yes, he
He's
is.
Cute kid.
Jokic.
Got to do more interviews.
Wembanyama. Yeah.
Maybe I could see that. I can see that. He's definitely going to be a specimen.
Right? That'd be the plan.
I think the problem is a lot of these guys aren't really great personalities, and I guess LeBron really isn't either. But there's still something there. I don't think Jason.
He's got
Tatum,
charisma. You may not like him, but he's out there.
The dad is a thing.
Yeah.
He's got big. Yeah,
he's not like Kawhi.
He's definitely not like Kawhi. And all the guys you listed, just Giannis is really, really funny. I just don't know if he's in the public face enough. And then there's the Milwaukee of it all, where it's, you're just not going to get a lot of pub up there. Luka is probably skill wise and also like has the prophecy behind him as well, where it's kind of like Luka was built to almost be this great harrowing star. None of those guys are really personality driven though. And that's, to me, that's part of the biggest thing of being a superstar is you got to be in the commercials. And I know Tatum's in a good handful of commercials, but none of them are really because he's really jumping off the screen. I really like that Mike Breen commercial with him, though.
Yeah. Wembanyama, as we mentioned, although, well, we'll see. I mean, supposedly he has a really, really magnetic personality. Anthony Edwards got mentioned.
Oh, that's a great choice, actually. Anthony Edwards is
but I don't see him.
Hilarious.
I know
he's hilarious.
But
Absolutely.
he's almost he's not mainstream enough, which
Yeah.
is one of the things I like about him. He's not mainstream enough to be the face of the NBA.
He probably won't be long for Minnesota. If I had to guess, I think he'll probably move on to a bigger market at some point.
Yeah.
And I think that'll probably elevate his star to a pretty significant level.
Maybe.
When we say face of the NBA, though, I could see where the hesitancy is because I don't know if Anthony Edwards will ever truly be like one of the three best. Like he'll definitely be top 10 at some point in his career, but I don't know if he'll be like top guy.
I think he was too good as a villain in Hustle.
Also true.
To be a baby face for the league.
Somebody mentioned Zion Williamson.
Yikes.
Think so?
Especially not anymore. No, Zion
What do you
also
mean?
Zion's got no personality. I don't know if anyone's heard Zion interviewed ever, but like there is nothing there. And he's not dumb or anything. It's just like I think he's just a really simple guy, and he's just into his simple pleasures, that man.
Mm-hmm.
But just not, I don't know, just not much there. I think you can talk about Zion, like Zion's game is a lot more
The Mountain
interesting
Dew
than Zion
commercial
the
with him
person.
and Zach LaVine. I think his best line is when he goes, bruh, right?
Yeah, I think those are his only lines, isn't it?
Bruh.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not for Zion as the face of the league.
This kind of reminds me of when Michael Jordan left the second time.
Was that 01?
After
02?
the 98
02,
season.
Oh.
Yeah, when he walked away.
Gotcha, the second. Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's the third time.
I know.
Yeah.
That's foolish me.
And there was a lot of people were asking, who's going to be the new Michael Jordan of the face of the league? And it's like, there wasn't for a long time. You just don't replace Michael. And eventually, I guess, everyone thought maybe Grant Hill, but eventually Kobe and Shaq kind of grew into that role. And then LeBron came along. But somebody like LeBron and Steph, you don't replace them.
No,
they're going to be
one of a
around for a
kind.
while longer, but they're so unique, both of them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It takes a lot of being great, but also, you got to, again, bring some personality to it as well. And I just,
what about De'Aaron Fox? Future face of the league.
I'm telling you, when I keep saying this, when De'Aaron was drafted, it's the first thing that jumped off the page to me was his interviews. Like he sounds like charisma, just ultimate charisma, jumps off the page, like just seems like a great interview. Like I think he's got potential to definitely have some major star power.
The team has to.
Yeah, the team's got to get there to be in the spotlight.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think he would have a shot.
I think so. I think he would have a shot, especially if we're just talking like American-born guys as well, because there's also the conversation of like how many. This is a worldly game now. I mean, the top prospects for to face of the league are Giannis, Luka, Jokic. All of those guys are obviously not American. Like Wembanyama as well. Yeah. Like I think that there's a chance that it could be a global face also. Like not just like like there might be multiple faces in the NBA.
Kyle Kuzma maybe future face of the league.
Maybe who knows. Harrison Barnes could be the face of this country one day. I think
could be.
I'm letting you know now.
Coming up next, how good are the Suns, and is their owner just making a rookie owner mistake?
Yikes!
It's next year. Chris and company, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street, right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please, gamble responsibly, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Greetings from M&S Auto on El Camino, just off the Cap City Freeway. And a big thanks to our repeat customers for letting us be your favorite car dealer. Repeat customers make us proud. M&S customers know that they're going to find the car, 4x4, or SUV they want. They'll get treated like family and save thousands. Whether you're a repeat customer or a first-time buyer, welcome. M&S Auto, the intelligent car buying experience. msautogroup.com.
Sitting at your desk, watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Have some interesting candidates for Face of the NBA. Thanks for participating on the YouTube chat. Before we get to that, before we get to the Phoenix Suns and this massive deal, Chris just shared a video with me. A friend saw a Sacramento King at the airport.
Yeah.
He literally is dribbling a basketball through the airport.
Yes.
When you told me that, I was like, yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, legitimately, my friend just texted me about a half hour ago saying that he ran into Davion Mitchell at the airport, and he is quite literally just dribbling like he's walking from his gate or coming back into Sac.
The picture looks like it's on that trolley thing that takes you.
Yeah.
To the terminal.
And he's just walking between the gates and he's just dribbling a basketball with one hand back and forth. And I'm like, my guy, what about incognito mode? Like, just you want to be any more obvious?
Working on his craft.
I guess so. I mean, and yeah, he's got the basketball in his hands the entire time. Even on the tram, he's got the basketball in his hand. So I guess ball is truly life for Davion, but maybe want to be a little bit more inconspicuous walking through the airport.
You ever heard the story of how Steve Nash, I guess it was when he went to Santa Clara, he would dribble around campus all the time, but with a tennis ball.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's something. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Actually thinking about that, I don't even know how you would do that.
Isn't that what Steph does with like several tennis balls as
I don't
part
know.
of his warm up?
Real original. Actually, it would make sense. It would actually make sense. It would actually make sense because I think Steve Nash was their assistant, wasn't he? I'm sorry, special advisor or something like that for a couple of years. I mean, it makes sense. I think Kyrie would do that too. I think Kyrie said that's how he got so good at dribbling is he used to, in his room, instead of dribbling basketballs, he would just dribble tennis balls between his legs. And
the idea being if you can dribble a
exactly.
tennis ball here.
Yeah, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Everyone knows that.
Yes. Some suggestions here on the YouTube chat, as I mentioned, for future face of the NBA. Jokic has to be international player to show NBA the #1 league in the world.
Yeah.
Jimmy Buckets from Cam Cruz. Mr. Jason 916, Luca, the biggest baby and whiner in the NBA. Epic Airbees, Ja Moran is the face, although not great.
That is true.
And
I
then
think
Booker,
yeah.
Mr. Jason asked about Booker.
Booker, interesting.
Devin Booker.
I think Ja actually is a great shout for who would have been the face. Like, I think Ja would have been the natural pick for face of the league had he not found himself in the issues that he's finding himself in now. And, you know, I guess there's still the potential for a redemption arc, and who doesn't love a good redemption story? And that could definitely lead Ja to being the face of the league if it's a real, you know, full circle moment. But
did you read the story today? And I apologize, I should know who wrote it because that's an important factor here. But according to report, Ja and his people feel like the media and the league are out to get them.
Oh, I saw that.
If that's true. That's not good.
No, I saw.
I don't know that it's true, but if it is, that's not good.
I believe a friend of his tweeted it out, and it was retweeted and then unretweeted by Ja Morant. So, and it was something essentially saying that the NBA is out to get Ja, apparently, which is, it's just not true. Like, this is that to me just tells me that Ja Morant does not understand what the situation is. Like, he doesn't understand how he played a role in all of this. And
that's what bothers me about it.
Apparently what started was Tim McMahon's comment on Brian Windhorst and the Hoop Collective podcast.
Okay. Do we know what that comment was?
I have heard indirectly that Ja and people close to Ja, perhaps.
Oh, okay. I see.
People familiar close to Ja have his feeling that the NBA is out to get them.
Thank you.
The media is out to get them.
Yeah.
That's just not the right mentality to have on this. And again, like it's just, this is twice now that Ja has had this situation come up and he's not addressing it properly. Like, it doesn't seem like he's personally taking any blame for it. Like, yes, my guy, you didn't technically do anything that's illegal or against league policy or anything like that. But what you did was really, really stupid. And it might have not been 25 games worth of stupid, but you also have to acknowledge that you talked to the commissioner face to face and you told him what I wouldn't do this again or whatever you told him. And then no more than a month later, you're doing the same exact thing. And you have to understand that that's just not, like, nobody, especially nobody in any power, is just going to let that slide and be made to look a fool.
That's what, it doesn't make me angry. Like, oh, Ja, what's wrong with you? It makes me feel like, oh no, he's not,
dude,
he's not,
it's not computing.
Yeah.
And that's sad. I mean, like, again, for a guy who's got the world in his hands,
going on here and the best way for him to deal with it.
Exactly. And
I want to see him play again.
I do too. That's all. I want to see him play again. And I don't want to have to talk about Ja Morant off the floor. That'd be great if we can just talk about how ridiculous Ja Morant is on the floor and what a crazy athlete he is. And maybe we can, you know what discussion we should be having right now is, man, Memphis really, or New Orleans made the wrong pick there. New Orleans should have gone Ja. I mean, with all of this Zion injury stuff and all the Zion off the court craziness, and they might move him for number 2. You know, it looks like a great pick right now is Ja Morant at number 2, who might be the face of the NBA in 3 years and has a signature shoe deal with Nike and all these things going for him. And unfortunately, now that's just not the story. The story is, unfortunately, that both of those number 1 and number 2 picks look like they have a lot of issues off the floor that might, and I'm not even talking about Zion's women issues. I'm talking about his weight and his injury issues. Like, it seems like off the floor stuff might derail those number 1 and number 2 picks more than actual on the floor stuff.
Of course, the biggest story in the NBA currently is the aftermath of the trade. Bradley Beal going to the Suns. I'm interested to see that. You know, anytime you have 3 superstars, great players on a team for the first time, I'm excited about seeing that work. I just don't think super teams work. I think you look at Denver, and I mean, again, you got a team showing you this is how you build a championship team, and you've got a new owner saying, no, I'm not going to do it that way because I can get Bradley Beal.
Right.
I don't have a whole roster now, but super teams like that don't work. It's taking shortcuts, and what you lose are some of the things that are essential to building a truly championship team.
Right. Glue guys. Everybody needs a glue guy. You need somebody who's a connector, and you need somebody who's a role. You need multiple guys who are role players,
and even your stars need to be connected.
Here's a question: who's the Suns' point guard right now? Who's initiating the offense? Is it just going to be Devin Booker is going to have the ball in his hands the entire time? Is Bradley Beal your point guard?
Is Campaign still around?
I think so. Who's guarding point guards? How about that? Who's playing defense on this team? Is it going to be an older Kevin Durant? Is Devin Booker now going to sacrifice some offense for defense?
I think the trade to get Durant, and I love Durant. Yeah. We were talking about that earlier off the air.
Yeah,
I think he's underrated, perhaps. I love
yeah.
Durant, but the trade to get Durant was not wise. And their new owner is doubling down on that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they lost all their depth with Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. And now they've lost everything else. You know, Landry Shamet, say what you will, like he was a role player. Like he's a good player that can fit into playoff rotations. Chris Paul, they're going to miss Chris Paul, especially if they're going to keep DeAndre Ayton. I don't see DeAndre Ayton getting any touches with these three guys out there. I think Phoenix has a lot of work to do, and they just made it a lot harder for themselves to build that team. And this isn't Kevin Durant joining Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. This isn't LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh coming together.
Right.
This is an aging superstar in Kevin Durant. It's an upcoming superstar in Devin Booker. Absolutely. The Booker part of this is the least questionable of it all. But also Bradley Beal, in terms of, and I talked about this with J Mars yesterday. What's the role Bradley Beal's going to fill here? Because the last 2 years.
Yesterday was a holiday. You didn't work.
That's true. I wasn't supposed to. I did work yesterday. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you for my service. I appreciate it. Is Bradley Beal going to no longer be like he's been a 30 point per game scorer 2 years ago? Is he just all of a sudden going to accept okay, I guess I'm now the third? Like he's not a 2B.
I think Booker and Durant are still figuring that out.
That's what I'm saying.
Between
it's like
the two of them.
It's definitely, I would say 1A Booker, 1B Durant. I don't think there is a second option. I think they're going to however that shakes out. And then it's a third distant Bradley Beal. That's not where Bradley Beal has been the past couple of years in Washington. He's been the number one guy. And I used this example yesterday. The only example I can think of someone really doing what Bradley Beal is trying to do is like when Ray Allen went to Boston, where he really was like, I'm no longer a star. I just have to be an overqualified spot up shooter. The difference is Ray Allen is maybe the best shooter of that era. Bradley Beal just shot, I think, 31% from three last year. They're not the same guy. I don't know where Bradley Beal necessarily fits into like the role that he's going to need to fill there in Phoenix.
I'm glad you mentioned the Warriors and LeBron's Heat, because I think owners and some people that make these decisions, they look at that and say, oh yeah, you get three superstars, you put them together and voila, there you are. But you look at the Heat, that was already a team that had won a championship in 06. You have Dwayne Wade, you had Bosh, who's a great piece to add, and LeBron, who's one of the greatest players of all time. That's a lot different than like KD and Kyrie saying, let's go get James Harden and then we'll win multiple championships.
Exactly.
You have to have fit, whether you're superstars or not. Bosh and Wade and LeBron, that was a great fit.
Yes. They all can play off of each other and help in different areas.
Yeah. And
I don't
Dwayne
see
Wade
how
was
they
willing
fit.
to, all right, we're going to win here, so I'll do what I need to do to win, because I want to win.
I don't see that with Phoenix. I mean, I don't
either.
I don't see where those roles fit. I don't see how those three players can make each other better either. I don't see really how their games play off of each other at all, except for creating open looks for each other. I think on certain nights they'll look great. Those three will be enough to win 40 ball games, just those three. But are these guys going to win 50, 55, 60? I have a tough time seeing anything more than like 50 wins for these guys.
I don't see it,
and that's if things go perfect.
Especially if it's true that one of the people who was pulling the strings behind the scenes for the Suns was Isaiah Thomas,
who doesn't have a great track record.
Does not. Great player.
One of, if not the worst GM I think I've seen in my lifetime. Very, very, very bad GM record for Isaiah Thomas.
All right. Meanwhile, there's talk of OG Anunoby maybe coming to Sacramento. Is he worth this much? Next, Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
The Kings season might be over, but Sactown sports coverage never stops.
It's probably one of the best starting points I could have had starting in the NBA, Sacramento.
Stay tuned all off-season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Tuesday forecast is bright and sunny. Less wind to go around today, and temperatures this afternoon will hike into the upper 70s to low 80s. Expect overnight lows in the low 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for all your favorite models at low prices and payments, plus low finance rates and zero down deals with approved credit. Go see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 20 years.
When the world's best players get fitted for new golf clubs, they want to see their ball flight outdoors. Why should you settle for any less? The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is the area's unquestioned leader in delivering a new age of golf club fitting to Northern California. With 14 trained, skilled professionals to show you how to hit the ball farther and straighter, satisfied customers have increased their yardage, improved their games, and gained confidence. Call 916-808-2531 to get started. That's 808-2531 for longer, straighter drives.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Everyone knows that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Kenny and Jerry here from Bell Brothers. And that's especially true when it comes to your air conditioning system.
A precision tune-up and professional cleaning costs a little bit up front, just $87, but will prevent much bigger, more expensive, and inconvenient problems later.
We actually replace systems all the time from people who don't get annual tune-ups. They either forget or they just don't realize it's important. So instead of their systems lasting 12 or more years like they should, they need to be replaced in just 6 or 7 years.
Don't risk it. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Call Bell Brothers for an $87 air conditioner precision tune-up today and keep your system clean, energy efficient, and in good working shape.
Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com. That's 916-444-1234 or online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
No surprise guys, Bell Brothers. Guys, did you know that June is Men's Health Month? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T level is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your hormones are serious business, and most men start to see changes in their hormone levels starting in their 30s. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Get your T levels checked today by a local, experienced, and trusted healthcare professional. Revive Men's Health has successfully helped thousands of men since 2011. Experience and results matter. So, what are you waiting for? Call Revive today to schedule your free testosterone test and free exam. We know we can help you. We guarantee it. Celebrate Men's Health Month. Get your free T-level test and save $199. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Summertime is a great time to get your home evaluated for solar. And while you're at it, make sure your roof is in good shape for all seasons. Hey, Jason Ross here to tell you about ACR Solar and Home Services. Go to acrsolar.com to find out all the different things that they can provide for you. And while we're all watching utility costs go up, along with everything else, why not make the most of the sunshine beating down on your roof? Harness that solar power and cut those rising utility bills while at the same time improving the value of your home. ACR Solar and Home Services makes it easy with a simple evaluation that'll show you just what it would take to get your home generating savings that help your bottom line and help protect the environment. So start now, and while you're there, ACR Solar and Home Services can make sure your roof is in prime condition. So just go to acrsolar.com and start your savings today. ACR Solar and Home Services, quality, value, and integrity since 1979.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lobb with your Sactown Sports Headlines. Over the weekend, it was announced that the Washington Wizards and Phoenix Suns agreed to a blockbuster trade, with the Wizards sending three-time All-Star Bradley Beal, along with Jordan Goodwin and Isaiah Todd, to the Suns for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, several second-round picks, and pick swaps. The deal has not been finalized while the Wizards look for another team to send Chris Paul to. It'll be announced today that the San Francisco Giants and St. Louis Cardinals will be playing at Rickwood Field, the oldest professional ballpark in the United States and former home of the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro Leagues. On June 20th next year, the game will be a tribute to the Negro Leagues and Hall of Famer and former San Francisco Giants Willie Mays. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
Great to have Christopher Laud back. Story time coming up. Christopher Laud story time. Oh, how we've missed it, huh, Chris Watkins?
Absolutely, yeah. There's nothing quite like Christopher Laud's story time to end the days. And it's got some good stories from what I hear. Good stories to pull from, so I'm excited.
You are looking up a story or two about Isaiah Thomas and some of the moves he's made. We believe he may have had something to do with this Suns trade, at least CP 3?
3.
Yeah,
yes.
Pardon me. Yeah.
Not CP4. We were talking about CP4 earlier. I
right.
think that's where the confusion
Chris Paul believes that Isaiah Thomas had something to do with this trade.
Yeah. I mean, and, you know, it seems like from all the reporting that Isaiah Thomas has somehow infiltrated his way into a very high influence position there in Phoenix
owner,
with
Matt
Ishbia.
Right. Yeah, Isaiah Thomas is my buddy now.
Right.
He's great.
Is Isaiah Thomas a Michigan guy? And I know he's not like went to Michigan, but
he's Indiana, but then he played
right.
in Detroit.
Right. There you go. I was trying to figure out because I know Matt Ishbia went to Michigan State and was a player at Michigan State, and I was trying to figure out where the connection is. So that's pretty much it, is that, you know, I'm sure Matt Ishbia growing up was like, Isaiah Thomas is like, he's the guy, you know, he is my guy. And
he was an incredible player.
Incredible. We were talking about Kevin Durant. I think Isaiah Thomas is right up there if we're talking the most underrated basketball players of all time.
Because he played at the same time as like Magic and Michael Jordan
and he was
those
just
guys.
in between them. You know, and you know, the bad people know and talk about the Bad Boys Pistons, but and obviously like the Pistons were a little bit more of a collective than more about the individual, but
he was the best player on a team that won back-to-back titles. That's how good he was.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, he's the top 5 point guard of all time. Yeah, in your eyes, probably.
I would think so.
Yeah, I think just criminally underrated. But as a GM, terrible. Just as like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Was presided over. Maybe, I mean, Knicks fans can probably speak more to it, but I would say the worst stretch of Knicks basketball in a very, very long time was in the reign of Isaiah
So if the
Thomas.
basketball gods come to you, Chris, say, here you go.
Yep.
Here's an NBA team.
Yes.
You can have this team.
Yep.
You can do whatever you want. However, one caveat, your GM has to be either Isaiah Thomas or Michael Jordan.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
What are you going to do?
That's crazy. I guess Jordan. I guess
if
Mike.
you really want Magic Johnson, we can put Magic.
Oh my gosh. That's absolutely terrible. That is horrible. I guess it would be Michael.
I think so.
I don't know why. There's nothing I can point to as like at least he drafted Adam Morrison or something. Like, there's nothing there to say. I mean, Magic Johnson kind of helped LeBron come, I guess. So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, can I get Larry Bird, please? Can we get another star,
Jordan,
please?
He's not one of your choices. Jordan seems like he's made bad decisions. Isaiah Thomas seems like he makes disastrous decisions.
Terrible, like catastrophic, like blow it all up kind of decisions. I'm good. I'm good off. Isaiah Thomas doesn't seem to understand how contracts work, which is like it's like the baseline for a GM. I would like you to at least understand that big contracts not good, smaller contracts.
You're probably overstating it. Give me one bad trade he made.
Well, how about this Eddie Curry trade for you? This is kind of
Eddie Curry's a fine player.
Not Stephen, not related to Wardell or Seth or Dell. This was on October 4th, 2005. The genius that is Isaiah Thomas. This is 2 years into the job, mind you. So he's had some time to figure this whole GM thing out. Traded Jermaine Jackson, Mike Sweetney, Tim Thomas, and 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. Those first-round picks that he traded off ended up being LaMarcus Aldridge in 2006 and Joakim Noah in 2007. So again, Jermaine Jackson, Mike Sweetney, Tim Thomas, 2 firsts, 2 seconds for Eddie Curry and Antonio Davis, along with a 2007 first-round pick, which ended up being Wilson Chandler. So really, I mean, that's just absolutely terrible. 2 first-round picks, again, incredible picks for Eddie Curry, who let me pull up Eddie Curry's Knicks stats here. Eddie Curry played 5 seasons with the Knicks. You know, you look at the numbers, Eddie Curry, not terrible. Just wasn't on very good teams. He averaged 15 points per game.
It's a great trade.
5.8 rebounds.
A great trade.
I won't go great. Also, if I'm not mistaken, the Knicks won 23 games, 33 games, 23 games, and then 32 games.
That
in
sounds
the Eddie
like
Curry era.
And I don't remember the specifics, but it sounds like a deal where Isaiah's like, I'm trading these future picks. I'm not going to be here then anyway,
Exactly.
so I don't care.
Exactly. And that's the problem with that. I mean, you know, and Phoenix is in a similar situation now where they have no picks. And
the thing that gets me is the pick swaps.
I don't understand how I still don't understand how pick swaps work. Like, I get the premise of them. If somebody's higher than the other person, then they get to swap with them.
But if I'm Washington and I get, I have the right to swap picks with you,
Washington,
you're never going to want to do that. So it's like nothing.
It's nothing. It's literally nothing. Nope. I will put
Most likely.
I know we're saying this Beal, KD, Booker thing might not work out as well as they think. They will not be worse than the Washington Wizards. I can guarantee you that.
How about this trade from the Kings standpoint? I think this is Brendan Nunez who wrote about this.
Shout out that guy.
Yeah. Brendan Nunez, right? I said
yes,
Brendan
it's
Nunez.
okay. We can call him whatever we want.
Yeah. OG Anunoby. We know that there's been a lot of talk that, well, you just look at it and you could say, hey, that'd be a guy that the Kings would be a good fit for. Rashawn Holmes or Herter.
Okay.
Davion Mitchell, pick 24, and a couple of future firsts from the Kings to Toronto for OG. I like OG.
I like it, yeah.
It's a couple of firsts and this year's first, and I mean, if it was Holmes, maybe, but to me, it's a little rich for my blood because Anunoby, he could opt out of his deal after this year.
Yeah, that's tough. That's where the OG thing kind of stops making sense for Sacramento. If you want to go all in on this year,
he's not even an all-star. I like him, but he's not even an all-star.
No, he's a really good role player, like a really good role
3-and-D
player
guy.
But and that's exactly, to go back to the draft conversation, that's really ultimately what the Kings really need is some wings or some bigger forwards who are 3-and-D, and OG is that, but at what cost? And
also, he doesn't play a lot of games.
No, he's been hurt a lot. Even coming into the NBA, I believe he tore up both of his knees, and so that's always kind of been a lingering thing in his career. He's a good athlete, but again, like, I think he's lost a step from where he was coming up in basketball. I think it's just a little bit too risky. And then again, like, next offseason, you then have to make a decision between Domantas Sabonis, OG Anunoby, and Malik Monk potentially. I don't know exactly how the Kings cap situation will work out, but I have a tough time seeing them being able to bring back all 3 of those guys if that's going to be the case. So I just don't think it's worth the risk especially if you're going to send out multiple first round picks.
I like OG, but I don't like him that much.
I don't like
all
him
things
that much.
considered.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is just way too much for the Kings to offer right now.
Where do you draw the line? To me, it's the future first. If it's Herter, it's like, no, I don't want to give up.
No, if it's Herter, then no. I maybe one protected future first, but if it's Rashawn, I can understand throwing in a lightly protected first, but multiple's tough. Because again, OG Anunoby, not like nothing spectacular about OG.
Herter's really important to me this coming year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they still. People have soured way too much on Kevin Herter after the playoffs. He had a really rough 7 games, absolutely, but I'm not willing to discount what he did over 82 games just because he had a rough 7-game stretch. And you know, maybe if it happens again next year, I'll be right there with you. But you know, I think he just showed too much importance also throughout the regular season for me to just ship him off for you know, essentially just as another piece in a trade.
So who are the Kings going to get? They got to get somebody.
Yeah. They got to get somebody.
A lot of these deals we're saying, I don't know.
It's tough. I mean, this is why, and I said it, I've been saying it from the jump. a lot easier said than done to move on from Harrison Barnes. Like,
great point.
Harrison Barnes, we've pointed out the flaws. We've talked about what's good about Harrison. It's really tough to get significantly better than Harrison Barnes. Like, you might be able to do slightly. You might be able to take a potential risk on upside. You might get a slight decrease, but increase maybe in one more specific area. But it's just, you're not going to be able to get the solid across the board play that Harrison Barnes brings you when he's locked in. It's just and it's also just a really tough position in general to upgrade. There's a lot of guys who are good, not great at that position. So it makes the greats so good.
I think potentially you run that risk too of saying, Harrison Barnes, hold on, we really like you. And then you go, Kuzma, whoever, what do we got here? Oh, we got nothing. Okay. All right, HB, let's talk.
Exactly.
What? Oh, you've already signed somewhere.
Yeah, that's
HB
is not going to wait for the Kings. Yeah. Like, he's not. Harrison Barnes is not, or the Kings aren't on Harrison Barnes' timeline.
Right.
Like, Harrison Barnes is going to do what's best for him. He's going to try and fetch as much money as possible. And maybe that's what he's doing with fielding interest from Indiana and fielding interest from Dallas. Maybe he's just trying to show the Kings, like, you're not just going to be able to pay me as a bench guy to bring back just because that's what's good for you guys. I have value around the league, and you're going to have to pay me what the market value is if you want me to come back.
Guess what's coming up? It's the return of Storytime.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Storytime returns, and we have crosstalk with our mystery crosstalk.
Yeah,
guest.
we don't know who it's going to be.
Not sure who it's going to be, but we look forward to it. Next, Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now you're thinking, Comparion, never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents. Expert advice.
And there's number 4.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user.
we are going to be a lot of stuff you just mentioned, talking about the draft and all these rumors. Bob Gerald is going to join us.
Hey.
Bobby G. He knows his draft coverage. He's going to join us at 4:00 and hopefully tell us who the Kings are going to pick at 24.
Can you give us here in the 5 seconds we have available who will be the future face of the NBA after LeBron and Steph?
It will be Giannis.
Get all the latest 49ers news heading into the 2023 season on Sactown Sports.
I think Brock was smart, and we kind of facilitated that he met with a bunch of different surgeons. The hope is he's ready for